Welcome into the best in true crime podcasting. This is True Crime Tuesday. I'm your host, Tim Dennis. Got a good show for you today, folks. We're going to take a little bit of a jaunt off the beaten path. This is going to be a show that I think is going to not only intrigue you, it's going to scare you. I mean, it's going to completely scare you because I think a lot of you are probably in this situation yourself. We're going to talk today about the topic of married to an impostor. Talking about today the subject of mental illness. We're talking about the subject of being in a situation in a marriage where maybe the person you're married to isn't the deal that you signed up for. In fact, it's deadly. It involves murder, or in this case, manslaughter. And it involves, let's just say, a situation that you had no idea you knew you were getting. Aaron Villa is my guest. He's a U.S. Navy veteran and father who spent years trapped in a marriage that was built on lies, manipulation, and abuse, emotional, psychological, and physical. Behind closed doors, he was living with someone who wasn't who she claimed to be, an imposter in every sense of the word. He joined the Navy in 1998, retired in 2004 after 26 years of service, and we thank him for that service. He achieved the rank of Engine Man, Senior Chief Petty Officer, and served in the Engineering Propulsion Department across multiple platforms, including destroyers, mine countermeasure ships, landing crafts, and amphibious class ships. Out of those 26 years, he spent about 15 years at sea, deployed 8 times, traveling to 18 different countries. Over the course of his career, he earned 9 Navy Achievement Medals, 2 Navy Commendation Medals, and was selected as Sailor of the Year at 2 different commands. Now, you would think, at home, that should get him a little bit of a respect. There's more. In the midst of his military career, he started fighting a very different kind of battle at home. He began sharing most of his story on TikTok through Married to an Impostor to shine a light on what it's like to be and to survive narcissistic and domestic abuse. We'll have a link to that in the description of this program so you can watch those videos. And those videos, folks, will send a chill down your spine. Now, his goal through this isn't sympathy. It's awareness. Now, too many people stay silent because they're scared or they think no one will believe them. And believe me, when we get into Aaron's story, there were a lot of people that didn't believe him. I was one of those people who believed him the entire way because I myself have been in an abusive situation, in an abusive relationship, in a physically abusive relationship. So I knew where Aaron was coming from. Now, since then, the story's taken a darker turn. Aaron's ex-wife, Dixie Denise Villa, the woman at the center of all this, is now serving time in prison for manslaughter after the death of a baby in her illegal daycare. We'll give you the details of this and how this happened during the show here. It's a tragedy that showed just how dangerous her behavior truly was. Now, through Married to an Impostor, which is the name of the TikTok, which, again, we have a link to in the description of this program, Aaron's goal is to help others recognize red flags early, understand the patterns of narcissistic abuse, and remind survivors that healing and reclaiming your life is possible, even after years of trauma. So let's welcome in, for the very first time, to True Crime Tuesday, Aaron Villa. Aaron, how are you doing?
Good. How about yourself? Appreciate having me on board with this.
Well, thank you, sir. We appreciate having you here. All right, let's get to it, shall we? Let's see here. Where do we start? Aaron? You know what? I want to start at the beginning. Let's start at the very beginning.
All right.
Let's take a deep breath first. I mentioned at the beginning, and I don't mention it very often, I too was in a physically abusive relationship for quite a few years. And it was hard to hear it from family that I needed to get out. You yourself, I know you had family around you that said, that weren't crazy about Dixie.
Yeah. I mean, that came out a little bit. Some thought she was good and others thought, this could be bad, but those are some of the red flags you kind of ignore, right? You're like, this,
right. We'll get to that in a little while, but you have some people around you that think, hey, maybe she's good for you and she's shaping you up. There's others that think, well, maybe
negative.
She's not good for you. I can see that you're being drugged down. I can see you're not you. You get that a lot too.
Yeah, I got that quite a bit.
Yeah, and you don't know what to think in the meantime. You know what you're dealing with. You see the monster in front of you, but you also see that there's other people over here that think maybe it's a good thing and you don't know what to think, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Let's start at the very beginning. How do you meet your ex-wife, and what is your first impression of her?
Yeah, I was home on leave. Family was going to a hockey game, and I went with them. And long story short, the game was over. Went to a bar, and she was sitting there, and started talking to her, and everything seemed cool, and everything was good, and then went on a date. I don't know, maybe 3-4 days later, and then that's when I started seeing things. But at the same time, I was like, not a big deal.
Now, didn't she, in that first date, you had used a vehicle, or you had a vehicle that someone had used? They had smoked in your vehicle, right?
Yeah, my car just got shipped from Virginia, because I was, transferring in the midst of everything. I was getting ready to go to a new command, so that's why I was home on leave, and I get my car shipped over, and it smelled like smoke. So I was cleaning it out, right, trying to get this. I wasn't a smoker at the time, so it did bother me. So I'm trying to get this thing cleaned out. So yeah, I pull up, and immediately it was like, that was the first thing. It's like, oh my God, it smells like smoke, and I'm like, sorry, I tried to get it out. I load my car out. It's, and that was just, it felt like that was the start of it. You know what I mean? And then, yeah, we go, trying to sort that out. All right, cool. You could feel the tension.
Yep.
Then we leave and we get to where we're going to eat. And then that was a whole nother story, of individuals that's on their phone talking and texting or whatever, and games are playing, and I'm trying to converse. And yeah, it was like, finally, I just said, are you ready to go? And just kind of looked at me and said, yeah. And, like the movies, and somebody's like, hey, check.
Yep.
I just yelled out, hey, give me the check. I'm ready to get out of here. Right. And it was like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, I'm dead serious. What's the point of this? You know what I mean? Yeah. And so Kate and we walk out and then talk to me. He's like, the whole, kind of give you a sob thing. Let's keep it going. It's like suck you back in. It's like, and I'm pretty lenient kind of person. It's like, all right, well, you know what? We can talk and hang out. Let's see where it goes. But, right there, it wasn't working. Right. So, yeah. And then we're driving to grab some stuff and go to their house. And on the way, what do we run into? But a guy that there was a major car accident. A guy wrecked his bike on the road. And I mean, this is 10, 11 o'clock at night at this point. It's pretty late. So there was a guy's body in the middle of the road, and the upper half was laying over here, and it's like, oh, so you run into that. So and I look back, I'm like, there's another red flag. There's like death going on here during this whole situation. You
would, if you're of the spiritual ilk, you would say, you know what, maybe that's your guide saying, hey, you know what, maybe,
step back.
Yeah, there's a huge there's danger ahead, right? That would be the message. There's danger ahead with this particular person.
Yeah, I would say so. That's looking back, right? Hindsight's 20/20. You look back and you're like, man, that was probably a pretty big sign to be like, you know what, we should just step away now. But
yeah, well, but you want to think the best of people, right?
Yeah, try. Yeah,
and you want to think that maybe that this person didn't have ill intentions of you, and that they really did want a second chance. So you give them the best. So how does that night end then? When you decide to give her that?
Hung out, had some drinks, sat by the pool, and then that was pretty much it. And everything kind of sorted out, and we talked, and then went home and continued on seeing each other over time, right? And things seemed like they were getting better, or they were getting. But I don't want to say seem. It was like, okay, it's cool now. Kind of know each other, and after you communicate with somebody, then you kind of maybe understand. It's just, for me, I don't think I really understood the whole thing.
I understand little red flags come up and big red flags, and we can separate those two, right? Little red flags to me, and from watching your video series, I can get little red flags, big red flags. Little red flags, you don't keep very good house. Little red flags. Big red flags, though. Give me some of those big red flags. So what was the first big red flag that came up to you that you went, whoa, I don't know that I can deal with this?
I don't know, because that's the thing for me is I think I was closing a lot of it off.
Yeah.
Right? I wasn't paying attention to it. And like, I'll give you a prime example of some things off the bat. They used to put.
Give me one, Aaron, before you got married. But before you.
Yeah, so there was one instance where I didn't pay attention to it. It seemed like, oh, no big deal. Looking back, though, it was like, oh, that was a huge red flag, right? But at the time, I couldn't see it. They had a pot, like a glass bowl, and it was full of money. I'm talking hundreds and 20s and 50s, and I don't know how much. There's $5,000-$10,000 worth of money in it. Okay, and I was like, what's that for? Well, one, they didn't want to put their stuff in a bank. That would be a huge red flag. But I'm not thinking about it. I'm like, okay, some people don't. And I'm like, and then I think not even shortly after we discussed it, an envelope comes in the mail. I was at our house at the time, at the apartment, and an envelope comes in the mail and it's full of money. And I was like, what is that? And she opens it up and she goes, oh, my mom sends me this because I have a house in Florida and I have renters and they send me money.
What?
Well, yeah. So again, you're probably looking like, well, how you don't see this? I'm just not paying attention to it. One, I'm not into real estate. I don't know too much. Now looking back, I'm like, dude, that is crazy, right? So basically, renters were sending her money, and she was taking this cash and putting in this bowl, and I think it was like $3,000-$4,000 a month, right?
But
so
who pays their rent in cash, Aaron?
I didn't think it. See how you're thinking right now? I wasn't thinking that. Just kind of went over my head. Right? Because now what I do know, and I was like, oh, I know where that money's coming from. Right? I know where that's coming from. And then prior to getting married, also there was other things that I guess could be potentially big red flags. The night before my wedding, she keyed my car, got upset about something. Getting her a ring, it had to be a specific type of ring. But again, for me, I just didn't feel those were huge red flags, right? I just kind of overlooked it. And that's what the whole story, Married to an Impostor, about. I was like, hey, now that I see this, that's what it's all about. Is like, hey, there's all kinds of red flags. You just got to stop and look. What I didn't do. And I think that's why if you look at what we put together, it's how it says, I discarded, those red flags. You know what I mean?
There's something you allude to, but you never say in the videos. And I want to bring this up and I want to broach the subject to you.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Was there infidelity the entire time you were dating?
Not for me. Not one time.
I'm talking about on her part, not on your part.
I have no idea. I believe so. I would probably, now when I look back on things, I would probably say yes. I would think it happened quite a bit. For me, man, I didn't really pay attention to it, and I didn't really care. I pretty much said, hey, if you do something like that and I find out about it, we're done. Mm-hmm. Did I go looking for it? No, I don't have time for it. I was, a little older at the time, and I didn't care about it. But looking back, yeah, I'm pretty sure it happened quite a bit.
Reason I say this, and this is a little hard to admit, but we're opening up, right? You and I are opening up.
Yeah, yeah.
A couple of bros talking on a show that's going out to thousands
of people.
Right.
Yeah.
But I had an ex a long time ago who reminds me a lot of your ex, and fits the psych profile. And she would go on the same kind of trips that your ex would go on, and we'll talk about those trips here a little bit later.
Yeah, yeah.
Where all of a sudden she just needed to drop everything and she was going to go to a strange city. Right. And there's an instance in these videos that we'll talk about right now. I want to talk about it right now. There would be a time in your life, especially like at a time when you would have to move. And this is later on in the marriage where you've got to move from one city to another. You're being stationed somewhere else. Let's use that example.
Okay.
And she'd say, oh no, I can't do that. I got to go on this trip with a friend. That was no friend she was going with.
I seen who she went with, and I'm not going to say that I'm not going to disagree with you because, like, I don't know, but I seen who she left with.
Okay, who she left?
Right.
You saw who she left with.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
Now, did something change? It could have happened. I won't say no. When you're dealing with somebody like this, you have no idea, right, what they're capable of doing, or what they're going to do, or what they're going to tell you, and how things can change. You have no clue.
The deception is deep, my friend. It's
super deep.
It's super deep. Yeah, and there's levels to it. There really is levels to it. Because it's, oh no, I'm going to go out of town with a girlfriend, but maybe that girlfriend starts out going with her, but maybe it's a doubles trip, or it's just say you're going with me, and then she goes around the corner, drops that friend off, and then she's off to another city to go meet another guy. Yeah,
possibly.
Not that I'm trying to put more in your head. It doesn't matter that.
No, that doesn't. No, it's totally cool. Like I said, that whole chapter for me is over. It's been over. It was over during the marriage, right? And we've talked previously, but you hear certain things. It don't bother me. I just sit there and be like, there's a possibility that could happen, right? Yeah. I just wasn't the person at the time that I'm going to go and look for it, because I was like, look, you know, it's going to happen. If I catch something, you're out. Right. It just, when we had kids, that's when things kind of changed.
Right. Exactly. So let's go back to the place we were at before. Again, there's a lot of stuff when I was watching these videos that triggered my own stuff. So I was gritting my teeth a lot when I was watching your videos. And again, I don't think a lot of people realize this, Aaron, is that a lot of men date these kind of women. Some of them get into relationships, deep relationships with these kind of women, and some of these men marry these women. You married this kind of woman.
I was one of those guys.
Yeah. Now, you proposed to this woman. She had to have this certain size ring. You went back how many times to get this certain size ring?
Yeah, this ring changed, I think, 3-4 times, right? And you have to understand, I wasn't even in the United States at the time. I was in overseas, right? So everything was being communicated over the phone. Pictures were being sent. Hey, I was at this place. This is the ring I want. Okay, cool. And then, behind the scenes, without her knowing, I'm contacting this dealership. Now you got to understand, I'm 10, 12 hours ahead or behind, the mainland at this point. So I'm having to do everything 10 hours difference. So trying to get that right, contact the place, get the ring. Okay. Oh yeah, we got it. And then now the financial aspect of it, I couldn't just send this amount of money to my mom was helping me out and was going to get it. Yeah. So now I had to break these, the money was there. It's just, they wouldn't allow me to send it all at one time. Right. So now I got to do these increments. Yep. So that's a pain in the butt. Right. And then getting all this stuff set up. So then it happens. This is the ring that you wanted. You showed me pictures. You wanted it. Should be a no-brainer. Then they get it. I don't like it. Right? So then I come home off leave. There was another one. We looked at that one. Then it was, I don't want that one now. Jeez. And so it was just, we went through 3 or 4 different ones before the final one came in. And that just so happened that we ended up going, I had to take I took the ring back, and the guy was I said, look, we're going to take a break. Mm-hmm. Just refund me the money. And if we'll look around and maybe we'll come back, which I wasn't coming back. Right. I just wanted to get out of there. Yeah. And then went to another place, and we were probably in that place for 2 hours. I'm just sitting back, I'm like, she's explaining what she wants to the guy, and they're just back and forth. And finally I just said, hey, let me see that. Do this, put that in there. Oh, that's the one. Cool. What's the price on it? Can we get out of here now? Mm-hmm. And paid it off right then and there, which was a large amount of money. Jeez. Yeah. So, I mean, it was a gorgeous ring. It was just on the wrong person. You know what I mean?
Was there a point as she's dickering with the guy at the counter? Is there a point where you just say, this is all just too much, that I should just walk? I don't know.
to be honest with you. I think it was just, you feel like you found the person that you're like, okay, everything is going to be good with, right? And for me, I think a lot of it was like hearing her story. I think this is where we get sucked into things at times. You hear somebody talk about an ex or a previous relationship and how bad it was. So then you want to look and you're like, okay, you know what? Maybe they're acting this way because of previous stuff.
Right. Yeah.
And if I could just get them to understand not everybody's like that and not me, maybe they'll change. But what you don't understand is who they really are. Okay. And that's not going to happen. Right? And so for me, I think that's what a lot of it was just the fact of, oh, they had a bad situation here and they're probably looking at me like that, but I'm not that way. So I got to prove that, and that's what we run into too, is a lot of, I got to prove this and I got to prove that. And everything is about proving yourself when you're never going to be able to prove yourself to somebody like that. So in that situation, I don't think it ever crossed my mind.
Now, Dixie Denise had children before you two got together, right?
Yes.
Okay. How many children did she have before you two got together?
Two from what I know.
Two from what you know. That's important to, to say.
You
right.
never know.
Right. And was it from, not that I'm trying to cast aspersions here, was it one father, two fathers?
Two
fathers.
Two different fathers, yeah.
Two different fathers. I set that scene up for one reason only. We're going to get into her past here when we get on the other side of the break. Because that past is revealed to you, not by her, right?
Yeah.
She didn't come forward and say, my love, here's everything about my past, as we should probably talk this out before we get married. Here's the fathers, and here's everything that's gone on between, and here's, to be honest, maybe there's a little bit of dirt in my past, but here's what happened, and here's where everything comes out in the wash, right? That didn't happen.
Yeah, and that little bit turns into a lot more where you're sitting there and you find the truth and you're like, what?
That's right. Now, before we get to that, though, I want to talk about, once the ring's on the finger here, Aaron. Mm-hmm. What's the first point where she really blows that you go, wait a minute, I don't know that I bought in for all of this?
Man, there's so many, I think. I'm trying to think of the first one, but after we married, I was getting on a plane 2 or 3 days later to go back to my command, which I was deployed. She immediately called me, and this is something I found out later on what really happened. So as well, I'll share it with you. She said something happened with her and my father, which at the time I was like, oh, that could possibly happen, right? So basically what she was doing, she was trying to interrupt the relationship with me and my family to keep me with her. At the time, I didn't know that. Now, when you look and you see it, that's what I know, right? So then I'm there. And then it was just a lot of, while I was deployed, there was a lot of, what are you doing? Who are you with? Just, that. And I think that's where I'm like, hold on, what's going on here? You know what I mean? But then again, that comes back to the, let me prove, right? And I think that's where I spent a lot of my life with that individual, is trying to prove something, and which I have issues with today.
This is important now. So she took and she tried to separate you from your family so that she had.
Oh, she did. She
had
did. There was no try. Yeah.
To herself. Okay. I went through a lot of the same thing in my situation. My ex tried to separate me from my family. She tried to cast doubt in there. She even did it on the other side. She tried to come between my stepdad and I. She was telling my stepdad a bunch of lies about me when I would go out of town. Again, much like you went out of town for your job.
Yeah.
I went out of town for my job, and she tried to put those same doubts into my family.
And how did you handle it?
I had a frank talk with my stepdad, and he told me everything that she had said.
And yeah. See, I didn't have that opportunity. I was overseas. I was like not even home.
He actually, he was picking me up from the airport, and he was upset. He was upset at me, and I said, why are you so angry? And he said, because, and he went off on me, and I went, whoa, where'd you hear this? He said, because he was at the house fixing stuff while I was gone for the weekend, and she unloaded on him. And I said, really? Is that what she said? I said, do you love me and trust me? He said, like you're my own. And I said, then let me tell you what the real story is.
Yeah. Yeah, I could sit here and make all the excuses I want, right? But I think that was my failure, that I should have reached out and said, hey, what's really going on here? I just feel at the time for me, I was so confused on what was true. And I'm by no means, and my family, my parents were absolutely amazing to me, right? Mm-hmm. Of course, there's always issues in relationships, families or whatever it may be. Everybody has issues. I don't care what anybody says. Everybody has issues. So growing up, it was a great life. I had a great life, but I dealt with certain things, right, that other people may or may not have dealt with. So when I think this is where I look at stuff, and when you share your information with somebody that you think you're going to have a life with, right? Because for me at the time, I was like, I'm going to share everything. Yeah. Everything. My past, who I was in the military, the things I've done, my past as a child, the way, what I went through, everything. I'm going to share it all. So she knew everything about me. So I think she took that, and that's what she used against me without me understanding, right? And manipulated certain things where for me, I was like, oh, that most definitely could happen. Yeah. And so for me at the time, like, you know what, I'm not, that was my fault for doing that, just not verifying it. But my past made it feel like that could possibly happen. That's why I didn't do it, which, like I said, I put that on me. You shouldn't blame yourself for anything. I think that's something that you need to learn, is that you went to what you thought was a clean, pure source. You learned to share finally, right? And to open up. In situations, all your life, you'd learn to close yourself off and be safe. And you thought you were with a safe place or a safe person. So you shared. And it just so happened that wasn't an appropriate place to share, but you didn't know that. And that's not for you to blame yourself. And it just so happened that you shared in a place that you didn't know was safe. And you can't blame yourself for that. That's not on you to blame, right? Yeah. No, I got you. So, I think another thing too that was my stepmom, I think, seeing right through her at the beginning. Yeah. And so that might have been another, like, oh, let me get him away from there before, she opens everything up. Well, thank God for her. Right? I mean, that's what you just thank God for your stepmom. That's yeah. I mean, yeah, I think she's seen right through it. She normally, she's pretty good with that. And thank God your stepmom was there before anything happened to your kids. Now, on the other side of the break, you did have children with Dixie Denise, correct? Yes, I did. Okay. Two. So we'll talk about, on the other side of the break, about the birth of your children, because that gets, boy, there's some really confusing things there. There's some bizarre things there. And there's some breaking point things there. And I commend you, Aaron, for some of the decisions that you made there. We'll talk about the dissolution of the marriage, and we'll talk about what landed Dixie Denise in jail. Okay. And I want to circle back and talk to you about an interesting conundrum by the end of the program. Aaron Villa is my guest. Married to an Impostor is the name of the TikTok series. I want you guys to check it out. We have a link in the description of this program. And again, folks, we're talking about narcissistic abuse. We're talking about mental illness. We're talking about basically this case, which did end up in the death of an innocent young child. And Dixie Denise Villa did end up in jail for 20 years on manslaughter charges, but not for any of Aaron's children. For an innocent young child that was left in the care of Dixie Denise Villa in an illegal daycare. And the way that child ended up deceased was that this child was given a overdose
I believe they said up to 10 times, was it, Aaron? Up to 10 times the amount of Benadryl that the child could be given, I think is what it was.
Yeah, I think it was 10 times the amount or something like that. Yeah, I can't remember offhand, but yeah, it was well over the legal limit. But in the same matter,
they say no amount is
you shouldn't have any Benadryl given to anybody, I think 12 and younger anyway.
Right. They say no amount is recommended for anyone 12 and younger. You're right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is up to 10 times the amount that is recommended. And I tell you what, I may even put a link to the if I can find it, the sentencing of Dixie Denise, so you guys can see what the judge said in this case, and you guys can take kind of a deep dive into the sentencing in this case. It's chilling, the look in her eye when she's sentenced. I think you guys all need to see it to actually get a good look at what it was that Aaron was dealing with here. I'll tell you what, when we come back, we'll talk to Aaron a little bit more about some of the particulars in this case, what he went through, what ended up putting Dixie in jail. And again, I have an interesting conundrum at the end of the program. Married to an Impostor right here on the best in true crime podcasting. This is True Crime Tuesday. Welcome back to the best in true crime podcasting. This is True Crime Tuesday. I'm your host, Tim Dennis. My guest is Aaron Villa. The name of the TikTok series is Married to an Impostor. Again, folks, it's incredibly fascinating. It's about the patterns of narcissistic abuse. It reminds survivors about healing and reclaiming your life and how it is possible. But the ride is incredibly terrifying. And especially, I know it's focused a lot of times when we talk about narcissistic abuse, it's focused about men abusing women. It's a lot of times it's never talked about how you have these narcissistic women that abuse men. I myself have been in an abusive situation and been physically, mentally abused, so I can relate. I wanted to feature Aaron today and talk about his story. It's unusual because it did end in a death. It ended in the death of a young child. And his ex-wife is now in jail for 20 years based on the manslaughter of a young child. So, Aaron, you have 2 children by Dixie.
Yeah.
Let's, again, we're skipping over a lot that I want people to go watch the TikTok series and see some of the atrocious behavior that Dixie Denise inflicted on you. There's some of the things she said to you, I think made me cringe. I myself flash back a lot about some of the things. Give me 1 or 2 things that she said to you that still make you cringe to this day. When you see her face, right? And you hear that voice, what are some of the things that chill you to your very soul? What are some of the things you hear in your head that you go, oh, that just make you flinch?
You know, I think there's more of certain things that are said to me, not just words, but like how somebody says something or, how somebody directs it to me, dealing with her. Some of the things that she told me that I don't hear, anymore. I only heard it to them is on my way home, I would hear, I hope I was traveling from California to where I live now, right? 4-hour trip. And I was doing this every weekend because I was actually TAD, temporary assigned duty. So they brought me back off deployment because I had to get surgery and some other things, right? So they had me in California and I was TAD. So I don't live too far. So what I was doing is I was driving every Friday morning to California and I was driving back Monday early morning, 1 o'clock in the morning to get back on time. And during this time, sometimes I'd call him, hey, I'm almost there. Hey, by the way, talk to so-and-so, a buddy of mine. And I don't like him. He's this and that. You know what? Why are you talking to him? I hope you die on your way home. Hope you crash your car on your way home. Right. And I would hear stuff like that quite often. And then 2 hours later, oh, I'm sorry, I love you so much. And, now it's like, let me bring him back, and it's like, so things like that. But there's other things that, if somebody directs something like I'm lying, or if I'm being dishonest about something, it triggers me, because that's what she would do.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if anybody's like directing something, there's a trigger to me that I put it to her, and now I'm in defense mode. Like, what? You know what I mean? And that's, I'm working on that. I feel like I'm getting better, but that's the bigger thing for me, is triggers, right? Certain things that are said that affects me more. I don't think anybody's really going to tell me a lot of things that she said. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hope you die. I hope this and that. I don't hear those things. I just hear triggers.
I think a lot of those people, though, are protecting you. I know in my case, that was the case with my ex.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
They would say to me, you don't want to know the things that she said. And it doesn't matter, because you're not with her. You've moved on, and you're healthy, and you're happy. And you've moved past it. So why do you want to hear it now? What does it matter? I hear a lot of that. What does it matter? But sometimes you kind of need to hear it to realize that you made the right, not that you made the right move by moving past it, but you need to realize what you escaped, right? Sometimes,
trust me.
You need to go, yeah, I totally got past that, right? It's kind of like when you've escaped a burning building and went, wow, you want to go back and look at the wreckage I got out of that, right?
The big thing is that people say this all the time, there's light at the end of the tunnel. For me, it was like, there may be light, but this is a long ass tunnel.
Yeah. Yeah.
When am I going to get to the end of it? And it was 6 years dealing with that tunnel, or longer, maybe 9, I think.
I think there's some men out there, until you're in that type of situation, don't have enough empathy for women that are in that type of situation. Yeah,
there's a lot of things that we'll probably talk about a little later on. I don't want to get into it now, but I think there's a lot of things where, me personally, I've changed my views on a lot of empathy of that, towards what some of these women are going through, or other situations, right? Where I kind of look now, and I'll just hash on like the single parenting thing. Yeah. Which I'm sure we'll get into that a little later.
Oh yes, we're coming up to that here in just a moment, because I do want to get into the situation with the kids too. What I'm getting around to here is, I want to get around to, and I'm talking about the mental conditioning. You did some things, and some of the behaviors that you point out in the videos, I cringe, because I remember some of the things I did. Some of the sacrifices. You run yourself down, and a lot of abuse victims will hear this and they'll cringe as well. You do some things that are superhuman in order to please that other person who's doing nothing and using you and watching you waste away as you use yourself up to nothing. One of the things you did in the video, which made me cringe and shirk in my seat, you just had knee surgery. Yeah. Tell people what you did after knee surgery.
Yeah, so I had knee surgery. It was up in California. Like I said, I lived 4 hours away. And so just walked out with knee surgery. I'm in a brace. I think it was my left or right knee. I don't remember at the time, but one of them. Might have been my left knee. But we got in the car to leave, because I'm going to be on terminal or convalescent leave for, I think, I had 15 or 30 days for, they gave me because of surgery, to go home and recuperate. So on the way home, I'm just like, you know what, I'll drive home, which they were completely happy about. So, I drove 4 hours with one knee straight and driving in a car. Right. So, whatever. Then I get there, and it's like, oh, we're putting a birthday together, and, for their daughter, which was my stepdaughter, which was an absolutely amazing kid. Mm-hmm. So now it's like, I got this trampoline that I want you to put together. before the morning. Sure. So put together one of those big old trampolines, right, with one leg and try and do everything. I mean, it sucked, but you do what you got to do. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's what I did. So.
Didn't you also move a house on a bum leg?
No, I didn't. The house thing, I moved when I moved into the house we were in. So backing up a little bit, I came off that deployment after our wedding, our marriage, right after we'd been married. I think I was gone another 2 or 3 months, and I came home, which is a whole nother deal because, you know, things that I found out later on of what really happened. Where she lived, she was very much getting kicked out. I didn't know that at the time. She just said some lady came in there and fired her for no reason. And now we have to figure out where we're going to live. Right. So, well, not us, because I'm good. You know, I'm in the military. I can stay there, but we're dating. So I was like, look, I got it. I'll take care of it. So I get back to California. I'm there, and she no longer has a job, has to be out of this apartment complex, but she had like a week or two. And I'm able to leave after a week of being in California. So I did what I had to do. I flew her and her daughter out to California, stayed in the hotel, and then we all drove back. And on my way back to, you know, home, we don't have a place to stay in, but I'm making phone calls on that drive and found a place, told them my situation, and without having to put a down payment down or meeting them or whatever, they said, all right, yeah, we're good. We accept the deal, whatever. And the next morning, grabbed keys, or that evening when I came into town, I was able to grab the keys without even really doing anything yet. And, you know, I don't know, it worked out, right?
Yeah.
And they gave me the keys, and the next morning I was doing the paperwork and sending everything because I needed a place to stay. And the very next day, I was moving her apartment complex. And you got to understand that none of that stuff in there is mine. It's all hers. And I did it by myself. I had family members that let me borrow a trailer. One of her friends was supposed to help out. They helped out for about an hour or two, and then they were done. Right. And so, yeah, I was, I did the whole move. It took me 2 days, and I did the whole move on my own, put everything in the house. And yeah, she didn't really do too much, you know. So, yeah, but I did that. And then again, when we moved from there, we moved it to Washington, right? And I did all that on my own. And then we got kicked out of a house there, and I had to move that house on my own. So, yeah, there was a lot of moving when you look at that part. But, yeah, the knee, the leg thing was basically just the trampoline. Yeah, because I was only in a brace for maybe a month, you know, and then physical therapy, and I was back to full duty status. And that's when I moved to Washington.
But still, you're fresh off surgery. You should be putting it up. You shouldn't be on your knee. Yeah,
I should have been, you know, sitting up for a few days, a week, you know, leg chilling, ice, whatever the case may be, you know, and relaxing. But yeah, that wasn't the case.
I'm sure it wasn't in the doctor's orders to be setting up a trampoline and putting together a birthday party. I'm sure.
No, I don't. To be honest, I don't think the orders would have allowed me to drive a car home either.
Right. He probably didn't want you driving for a week. I'm sure.
Yeah. So, but that goes back to, like, I feel safer if I'm doing it, you know, with that individual. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was, yeah, there's so much, man. It's crazy.
But again, that's taking it on yourself. And then when you see that she's not doing anything, you don't call her out because you don't want to make waves.
You don't want to deal with the arguments. You don't want to deal with, it's like, you know, I can do it. Just let me get done. And, you know, because for me, it looked like like I said, there was all these little arguments, you know. For instance, when I was making that drive back and forth from California, right? I would come home and the house would be destroyed.
Yeah.
I can't live that way. It gives me anxiety. Things have to be clean. So now you got to remember, I'd get home at Friday afternoon. I'd be there Saturday, Sunday, and leave Monday morning at 1 o'clock in the morning to get back. Okay. So I wouldn't be in trouble. And so I'd make that drive every weekend. And when I'd get home, the house would be wrecked. So I'd spend a day or two just clean the house on top of, her daughter had cheer that I was paying for.
Okay.
That high level cheer. So now the Sundays were taken up for that. Right. And that's where I spent my time. It wasn't really us spending time. It was, I'm coming home to clean, do this, and then be on the road 1 o'clock in the morning. Okay.
Yeah.
So there was an instance where I was coming home. And she kept telling me, when you get home, go take a shower. I'm not there right now, blah, blah. Okay, cool. I get home. her car's not there, but I'm like, you can't park it in the garage because she always stacks shit in there, even though I try to clean it. So I don't expect for her car to be in the garage.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I walk in the house, I look around, and I'm talking out loud to myself. Look at this shithole. Look how dirty it is. I'm just going through it out loud because nobody's there. Right.
Right.
I walk into the rooms, I walk in the kitchen, I walk in the living room. I'm just like, and the phone's ringing. Hey, are you home yet? Yeah, I'm home. Take a shower. I want you to relax. I'll be there in a little bit. Yeah. Okay, cool. And then I'm talking out loud. Just, the food is everywhere. There's food on the counters. There's dishes stacked up. There's clothes everywhere. Mounds of, like, I have pictures that I could show you of this stuff, right? See, here's that where I feel like, oh, do you trust me? Do you believe me? Right? That's what I do. Right. So I go in the bathroom. I'm getting ready to get in the shower, right? And I look in the master closet, and it's dark in there, but there's shit everywhere. And I'm like, and I say another thing like, this fucking shithole, man. This person looks like a pig or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I get in the shower, and all of a sudden, cold water comes flying over the top. Well, she was there the whole time. Jeez. She heard what I was saying, and was like, "Is there anything else you got to say?" And at that point, you're just like, you've already heard it. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, why do you live this way? So again, doing the things I did, it just got to a point like, I don't feel like arguing. I don't feel like hearing your mouth. I just do it, is what it came down to down the road, right? Yeah. You just don't want to deal with it. So it's easier to do what? Do it and not deal with it. Right. And then in the back of your head, you're still pissed off because you're like, oh, you're so lazy. So after that little cold water attack, did it ever dawn on you that maybe she could have hit you with anything more than that? Oh, there's several instances where I felt that things could have happened. A funny thing is, my mother used to tell me, don't sleep with your back to them and keep one eye open. And that was years, maybe a year down the road with everything going on. Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, there's a lot more. Huh. But yeah, that probably at that time, because it was so fresh, I wasn't thinking that until later on when I started finding more out. Then I was like, oh, wow. Because even then at that point, I didn't really know who I was. I felt I knew who I was with. Yep. But I really didn't know who I was with until some other things came down the road. Let's talk about those other things that came down the road, because you get some information. Now, you realize that she has, you have your stepkids, that they have other dads, but then you get this information. Where'd you get that information from, and how did that come about? So when I first transferred from California to Washington, right, I was making that transfer, centering up. I have family in Washington. So I figured, we'll stay with them until we get a place, right? Because I haven't seen my family in a while. So that's what we do. Some things happen there, get a place, and we left. Well, my cousin didn't have that warm and fuzzy feeling about her, apparently. Okay. So I don't know. It maybe been a month or so. By this time, we find out that my daughter, is on the way. She's pregnant with my daughter. Okay. But yeah, she was accused. My ex, my now ex, was accusing me of flirting with my cousin's daughters. Jeez. And accusing her daughters of flirting with me, and I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? Right. And I'm like, so that was a whole deal. And then I was like, look, I don't want my family to have to deal with this. So, we found a place and moved on. Well, so my cousin gets information and calls me up one day. And now some other things have happened during this time, me and her fighting about different things and whatever. And I've talked to my mom, and my mom's talking to my cousin. My cousin knows about it. I talked to her as well. So it might have been about a month later. And she calls me and says, where are you at? I'm at work. I'm going to send you something, but I need to send it to your work email. And you can't allow her to find out. I said, okay, no problem. So she emails me information to work. And when you're looking for something on somebody, you got to pay for it on the internet. Yeah. There's different search engines that allow you to look up people's. So that's what she did. Yep. She looked up some search engine to, get information on somebody and paid the money for it or whatever. I mean, she did a lot of research into this and hit that send button. And this is the part where you're looking and you're like, who am I with?
Yep.
Right? Like, whoa. Foreclosures. We go back to that money that I told you about.
Yep.
Basically, what was going on there was it was a foreclosure. These people were sending her money thinking that she owned the house, and she didn't own the house. And so they're sending her money, and that money's going in her pocket. She's not paying a mortgage on it. She's just putting it in her pocket.
Jeez.
So there's a foreclosure home on top of several other ones, right? That when I'm looking at this, I'm like, holy crap, felonies, charges from stemming from when they were younger all the way up. It's just so much that I'm like, oh my Lord. But like I said, now she's pregnant with my daughter.
Yep.
Where am I going to go now? Maybe at that point, if she wasn't, it'd have been like, yeah, I'm done.
I think, Aaron, you're putting it a little lightly. She had domestic battery charges on both of her ex-baby daddies.
Yeah.
Right?
Domestic battery charges, like you name it, it was there, right?
Yeah.
I don't have the form in front of me, but yeah, there was.
I happen to have it because you sent it to me.
Yeah. Let's talk about it.
I have it in front of me. So let me see. Let me bring it up here, and I'll try to because they sent it to me in movie form. So I'm going to let it scroll down here. She's got as we go through here, like you said, she had the foreclosures that she was collecting money on. She actually at one point, which I find amazing, so she put out paternity suits on her ex-baby daddies as well, which I thought was interesting. So not only did she beat them, she put out paternity suits on them to try and figure out whether they were the real dads or not.
Oh yeah.
Which I found interesting. Earlier, before she started beating her baby dads, she also was beating others. So she couldn't keep her hands to herself even when she was younger. There's other domestics in here as well, or not domestics, felony beatings.
Yeah.
There's misdemeanors and felonies in here, and there's more than one. So and it goes all the way back to, I believe it's 1997.
Yeah.
That these go on. She's a dangerous criminal. And she's got motions on here, and her defense attorney in this manslaughter case tried to have these taken off the record.
And here's the thing is, for me at the time when you get that email, right, and you're opening it up, you don't know. I'm not thinking I'm walking into that, but then you open it up, and everything you're saying right now, I'm looking at.
Yeah.
And it's like, holy smokes. And when I started doing this Married to an Impostor,
she hit a cop.
People come out of the... What's that?
She hit a cop.
Oh, yeah. There's more than that. I think she was involved with the whole, when the mortgages, when there was a big mortgage, 2008, when all the housing market collapsed. And people were getting interest rates at like 1% and this and that. Mm-hmm. I think that's where a lot of those foreclosures from. And I think from what she told me, and again, I'm going off what she told me, but two of the guys that she worked with both went to prison and she didn't. So when I look back, I'm like, oh, they were doing shady stuff, and she probably sold these dudes out. Yeah. And she's able to run, and these guys went to jail. And that's where a lot of these foreclosures come into place, right? Around that time, if you look.
Yeah.
But it's crazy because people come out of the woodworks when you put things together. And I put this, or we put this Married to an Impostor together, put some stories out there, right? And an individual, and I'm not going to say the names, I told them I wouldn't because they want to keep, they want to stay behind the curtains,
right.
Which I completely respect because they're giving me information, right? Mm-hmm. And, I shared a lot of the things, the king of the car, slashing tires, things like this. This individual straight up wrote a lot of situations, similar situations they went through knowing her. Keys and cars, slashing tires, getting into fights at clubs, not just arguments, straight up bashing bottles over people's heads. The other thing, too, was rammed her car into some girl, her car. but she was getting out of all these things because her mother worked in the police force.
Jeez.
Right. But yeah, so yeah, a lot of these things, right? When I'm putting these stories together, people are coming for me like, that sounds exactly like the person I hung out with, headbutting. One of my stories coming up, where I think it was in there already, where the headbutt situation happened. She headbutted me.
Yeah.
Right. And she was famous for that. Right. And then you sit here and you think like, is it just me? But then when people come on and be like, oh yeah, I know she's done that for years. Like, wow. There's my justification. Like, yeah, it's not just me.
So
Okay,
not only is there mental illness, there's probably CTE in there too from all the headbutting.
Oh, there's they used to try to say that they didn't do drugs, but I think they were a pill popper is what they were, which I found out later on about that. And that's the whole other part of the episodes coming up in the Impostor series is we're moving on to the Hawaii portion of it. Washington series wasn't as bad.
Okay.
I mean, it was bad.
It was bad, but
okay.
Yeah.
It was bad. Hawaii's much worse.
Let me, I told you I was going to get around to the kids. There's something absolutely chilling.
I think I know where you're going.
Yeah. But I commend you for what you told your ex-wife. I don't want you to tell the story because to me, it's not mine to tell. But was this the birth of your daughter?
It is the birth of my daughter, yes.
Okay. Why don't you tell the story? Because, Aaron, this is just absolutely chilling.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. So when we did now you got to remember, prior to all this, I'd already had a kid with the previous marriage, right? So now I'm married to this person. They want to have kids. Okay, cool. Well, I'm still young, whatever. So it wasn't happening. So then I go get tested. And they pretty much said that almost a zero possibility. I'm like, how is that possible? I just already had the kid. Well, when I tell her, she's just bashing me. And this is part of the reason I didn't want to do it. Mm-hmm. So then what happens? Miraculously, we find out she's pregnant. Okay. Never did any kind of tests or anything like that. So we had no idea, boy or girl, if anything, there's any disabilities or none of that. Right. So this is all 100%. And the doctors didn't tell us anything. So the moment now where my daughter was born was around the corner from where I worked on base. Mm-hmm. So here's the hospital or the hospital. And then I worked like right here.
Okay. So
we go in and she's going to go into labor and it's this early in the morning, 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. So we're there. I contact my command. Hey, I'm at the hospital right now. I'm right here on base, but about to have my daughter. Cool. We'll see you whenever we see you. Birth happens. Now, this individual is really big on how people look at them, right? Like the Kardashian type stuff, ritzy cars, keeping up with the Kardashians kind of person.
Yeah.
So if there's anything wrong, they'll be the first one to throw something out. My daughter's born. I'm looking, and I instantly like something's different. But I haven't had a kid in a while. I've been around a lot of babies. Maybe it's just me. She looks at our daughter and at first is like, oh my God, another girl, because she has 2 other kids that are girls. Okay. And I'm like, hey, chill out. But then, oh, she's beautiful, whatever. I'm like, okay, maybe it's me. Everything's good. My daughter's good. They take her over. I said, hey, I'm going to run to my command real quick. So I get in the car. I go, minute drive. I get there. Everybody's like, hey, congratulations. I'm like, yeah, and as I'm walking down to my office, I'm talking to somebody. Somebody comes running out and they see me like, oh, hey, dude, you need to get back to the hospital, man. Your wife called here. She's flipping out. And that's when I knew. So my daughter is exactly what I was thinking. Mm-hmm. Now, mind you, on my way to work, I called my mom and I told her, I said, hey, we just had, our daughter. And she goes, how is that? I was like, I think she has Down syndrome. She goes, why do you say that? And I said, I just think she does. Well, did the doctors tell you? No, they didn't say anything. She goes, it's just you. But when, I'm at work and, telling everybody, and that phone call came, I'm like, she has Down syndrome.
Yeah.
Cool. Now I need to get back. What's what are the issues here, right? Because I think a lot of us know, like when you have a child with special needs, there's going to be a little more to it,
Sure.
heart issues or whatever the case. Now I'm like, let me get back to find out what's going on now. So I get back. I immediately find the doctor. They had her in another room. I find the doctor. I said, hey, yeah, I need to talk to you. She goes, yeah, there's something. I said, my daughter has Down syndrome. And she was like, how'd you know? I said, I could tell when she was born, something didn't look right. How was she doing? Is everything good? She's like, she's perfect. Mm-hmm. No heart issues, none of this. I'm like, okay, cool. Then there's nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, that's all. I want to make sure that she's physically okay.
Right.
They said, yeah, she's breathing good. She's healthy. No heart issues, none of this, none of that, typical stuff. I'm like, cool. Don't have to worry about it. So I'm like, okay, where's she at? So I go walk into the room and the chaplain, right? What would I call, like a pastor or something like that, right? We call them chaplains in the Navy.
Yep.
Work in the church religion area. So as I'm walking in, he's walking out. Hey, Chief, how are you doing? I said, good. You know, when I talked to you, I was like, oh, about my daughter? Yeah, I was born Down syndrome. Yeah, she's good. No, everything's good. He's like, oh, okay, you're good. I said, yeah, man, nothing. They told me she's fine physically, mentally. Everything's good. So no problem. So now I go and I talk to her and I said, hey, and she's crying. I already know why, right? Because the kid ain't perfect in her eyes. Okay, that's exactly how I'm feeling. And she looks at me and we talked and she said, hey, I need to ask you a question. And yeah, what is it? She was, you can't be mad. What? She was, promise me you won't be mad. I said, yeah, okay. I promise that, yeah, what is it? Can we put her up for adoption? And I, you know, without a thought, right? And I'm telling you this story right now is like, I'm thinking about it, but at that moment, there wasn't a thought in my mind, but yeah, I just kind of looked and I said, not a problem, for sure. We can do that. Is that what you want to do? Yeah. You're serious? You're not upset? I said, no, I'm not upset at all. If that's what you want to do and you really want to do that, yeah, 100% we'll do that. Oh my God, I thought you'd be mad. I said, no. I said, but there is one stipulation. What's that? I said, we'll put her up for adoption. I'm going to go get my daughter. She will be with me. And you can get the fuck out of our life.
Right on.
And she looked at me and said, what? And I said, that's 100%. Are you serious? I was like, I couldn't be more serious. I'm not putting my daughter up for adoption. But you don't have to be here. You can leave.
There you go.
Right. So that's how that situation went down. It was sick.
Yeah.
Absolutely sickening, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, you know, of course, knowing that child, my daughter, is going to be here. Now it's like, oh, I'm going to go full blown about DS awareness, which was all bullshit because it was just trying to get out there to use my daughter's disability for her advantage to say, look how great of a person I am.
Not only that, yeah, but to for people who want to watch the sentencing, she tries to use it to try and get a lesser sentence. She says that, you know, she's got 2 young kids at home, like she's raising the kids. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's disgusting.
It's like I said, I did a video on another account when that occurred. Because I have another TikTok account that I started this whole thing, and then we moved it to its own private page, the Impostor page, right? Mm-hmm. But there was a video where I addressed that to her attorney. You know,
it's amazing, Aaron. It's amazing. So we're gonna, because I want people to watch the videos and get the particulars here. I want to skip forward a little bit. Take me to the moment where the marriage is over, when you know that this thing is broken down the minute that you walk out the door. What's the incident that's it, that you walk out?
You know, to me, it was over then.
Yep.
To me, it's like, I'm done. But here my daughter is coming, and I know for me, and I've seen it millions of times, is service members or even civilians, it don't matter, man or woman, because I've seen it on both ends of the spectrum. You have to prove why the other person isn't unfit to get your child, right? Even though there was these court things, right? There was nothing that happened previous, so you can't use that stuff. It's so long, right? And so that's not going to allow me to get custody of my daughter. So the very next step I made was, well, I got to live with this individual. I got to figure out how I can do this because I now have a kid. And I'm not leaving my daughter with her because she already wanted to get rid of her. Okay. And I think what she sees with me is an income.
Okay.
And why would I leave him when I have this income and I can do whatever I want?
Right.
Okay. So that's not going to happen. And so I went to a counselor, marriage counselor. Like, I got to figure something out. I got to be able to live in this.
Right.
And when of course, when you go to a marriage counselor, they're telling you, oh, you need to do this and you need to do that, right, to make everything work. So what happens? Find out that now I have another son on the way. I'm definitely not going anywhere. Right?
Right.
But I was trying to figure out how to make it work, and then that happens. So now you got to make it work. Okay. And so as time was going, I'm trying to figure out how can I get out of this and take my kids with me.
Yeah.
Right. And there was 2 or 3 situations that came up that I thought, okay, I'm able to do it. And one was, and we talked previous about a trip that she went and made.
Yeah.
And I'm getting ready to transfer to Hawaii. And she knows we're transferring. But yeah, she's going to go on this trip with some girls. I'm like, dude, we're on an airplane in like 2-3 days. And those are the days you're doing this trip. Like, what are you doing? I'm going. I don't care. I'll meet you in Hawaii. I'm like, I'm going to be on a ship. I got 2 kids. What are you talking about? So I made a point to go talk to an attorney. And, it was like $100 to talk. And I told her my story and everything that was going on. And the attorney is looking at me with her jaw on the ground. And I'm thinking like, oh, you don't believe me. And she goes, no, I believe you. What I don't understand is how are you doing this? Like, how are you living?
Yeah.
I said, I got 2 kids. I have to. This is for them.
Yep.
And she basically said, when you get to Hawaii, and she's not on that plane, contact me. We still have jurisdiction here in Washington for another 6 months. We'll have jurisdiction and we'll start the proceedings and go with that. Well, she got on the plane. So that's out the window now.
Okay. Another
incident came up where I found out where she was working. She had stole over $10,000 from an individual. Jeez. Where she worked. Okay. So now I'm like, that's my second way out. And so I'm talking to this individual and I'm like, hey, this is what you need to do. And he wanted to do a restraining order. They want to do, I said, don't do any of that. Well, I think he felt that I was on her side and trying to hold back where I'm really on his side. And he doesn't know who to believe. And I'm like, just listen to what I'm telling you. Well, he did what he was going to do. And she found out about it and immediately went into, her mode of let me slam you, and got a hold of the Better Business Bureau, made some false things up, sent it to them. Well, he had to pay her another $1,800.
Oh,
right. And well, for me, that line of escape is no longer there.
Yep.
And at that point, I'm just like, yeah, I'm doomed.
Yep.
Right. Until the current situation came up. And that was when I was like, there's my way out.
And you're with her when she starts this illegal daycare, correct?
So when these things were occurring, so we have to go back into Washington, where there was an individual lived behind us and they were doing daycare, but they were getting qualified doing this. They had the qualifications. Okay. Excuse me. They became friends. And so she started getting that process.
Okay.
Now, again, we go back and we talk about the individual. There's a lot of lies and deceit. You never know it's true. I'm in the military. I'm doing what I do. I'm not going to come home and let me see your qualifications. I mean,
Right.
I would believe that what you're telling me is the truth.
Okay.
And why would I not believe that? Okay. So they're doing all these things to get qualified to run a daycare.
Okay.
Well, now we leave and we're and there were some situations that happened there in Washington. I was like, hey, just stop. We're transferring anyways. Then we get to Hawaii and they start doing it again. Well, I'm under the impression that they're getting qualifications and doing the right thing, right? And I don't know the stipulations on how many kids you can have and whatever. So I deploy not long after being there. And as I come home, I find out there were 17 kids in my home that she wasn't even there. She had somebody stepping in our house. There's a whole nother story. It's all in that whole thing with this infant that passed away. Mm-hmm. But yeah, apparently there were 17 kids in my home. The neighbor was, videoing what was going on in my backyard, kids with lighters, and she wasn't even at the house. She had somebody filling in. She wasn't even in the state at the time.
Jeez.
Right. And I found out all of this when I got back. And she was like, oh, yeah, these people are talking crap and blah, blah. And I was like, look, just stop it. Just don't do it no more. We're going to get kicked out of here. Blasey. Yep. And then I find out that, when the situation happened, that she was doing it again. Now, when I told her to stop doing it, she did when I was there.
Okay.
But when I would leave, how do I know what's going on? Right. Or when I was at work, she would watch these kids, but made sure they were gone before I got home. So,
jeez. Yeah,
it was just total deceit. But that's I said several times, stop doing the daycare. You're going to get us kicked out of here. There's too much going on. And then I didn't know the rules and regulations either until I did. And then I was like, you got to stop.
Yeah. And to give people an idea, I'll just run it down for you. What happens as far as from there? Dixie Denise Villa was babysitting 7-month-old Abigail Lobish in 2019 when the child died from a fatal dose of diphenhydramine, which is an ingredient in Benadryl. Now, Anna Lobish, the toddler's mother, told the court that she had been grieving ever since for her. She said, my heart has never stopped hurting. Lobish said when she was choked up, the loss and the pain of living without Abby is a heavy weight that I will carry every single day of the rest of my life until Abby and I are finally reunited, she said. Deputy Prosecuting Attorney Tiffany Kao told the court that Villa deserved the maximum for manslaughter, 20 years in prison. The drug should never be given to any child under the age of 6 without doctor's orders, Kao said. Megan Kao, who is the attorney for Villa, said her client should be sentenced to probation. She insisted on probation at the sentencing. Kao said Villa was not a danger and cannot care for her 2 minor children, one with special needs, from behind bars. Keep in mind, Aaron has just told you, she hasn't even paid child support. She doesn't have custody of her children. She doesn't care for her children. But in sentencing, tried to say that she cares for her children.
Mm-hmm.
A gross misjustice right there, and a deliberate lie. Yet they tried to take the mother of this poor young kid, and they tried to declare a mistrial, saying that she lied on the stand,
which had nothing to do with
nothing to do with the case, nothing to do with the case whatsoever. Yeah. Honestly, they should disbar this Megan Kao, the attorney for your ex.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
Yeah, a probation sentence will reflect the seriousness of the offense and will promote respect for the law and will provide punishment for Miss Villa, Kao said. In the end, Circuit Court Judge, I believe it is Fanauga, is it Toto O, I think is the name of the judge, agreed with the prosecution, which he should. He saw through all the BS, handing down the maximum 20-year sentence. So the judge basically saw through all this. He saw what a dog and pony show.
Right? Yeah.
He saw the dog and pony show.
So did the jury.
Yep. So did the jury. Saw through the dog and pony show. The judge said this was a difficult trial. The facts and the law here are clear. This should not have happened. So Odo O continued. These are the factors that the court has to consider, as well as what is appropriate. And the only sentence that stands out for this case is that the defendant must be sentenced to 20 years of imprisonment. Good for the judge. The parole board will determine how many years Villa must serve before being eligible for parole. Villa has asked that a new trial claiming evidence was withheld, which it wasn't, and that the child's mother lied on the stand. A judge last month denied the request, saying newly acquired evidence would not have changed the jury's verdict, which it wouldn't. Villa's attorney says that she plans to appeal the conviction. Now, since then, she appealed the conviction. The judge shot it down.
Yep.
It was a non-factor. It was a nothing burger.
Yeah, which I think we all knew anyways. But, again, there's still that possibility, right? So you still have that worry like, okay, are they going to open this back up? Are we going to have to go through this process again? Because this happened in 2019.
Yeah.
And it's 6 years later finally coming to an end.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So.
And to give, I don't know if you can see it through the play button. I can show people who are watching on video. I have a screenshot of exactly what your ex looks like. She looks nonplussed.
Yeah. None, zero.
Yeah,
didn't
at the
care.
sentencing. Yeah, it looks like she's looking at a dog taking a shit on the sidewalk. Pretty much.
In my opinion, she's got that look like, I'm not guilty. I'll get out of this.
Yeah, like this is nothing. Yeah, this is just a formality. I mean, we're going to a new trial anyways.
Yeah,
she could care less as to what's going on in front of her. Like it's not reality. Like she's going to form her own reality in this whole thing here.
Yeah, that's exactly what she does with everything.
Yeah,
everything.
Like nothing you can do can touch me. And that is the ultimate in narcissism and mental illness in a sociopath and a psychopath. That is the ultimate in that behavior. Yeah,
that's how she lived her life. Lies, deceit, manipulation, narcissistic, behaviors. She was like a chameleon.
Yeah.
I'll fit in here, and as soon as I get what I want, I'm going to dump you off in the garbage. I'm going to grab somebody else.
Yeah. Now, as we begin to wrap things up here, I want to ask you a question. I said I was going to present you with a conundrum here. With poor Abigail Lobish, this child who paid with her life for your ex-wife's ineptitude, for lack of a better term, and her narcissism and psychopathy. You put in the video that your own son at one time had told you that he had slept all day, and that he had felt funny. And it's insinuated in the video that maybe she did the same thing to him, that maybe he got the Benadryl treatment.
I wouldn't doubt that occurred. And I'll give you a situation I know 100% about.
Okay.
And I wish I did know. I wish I did see it. I wish I did have that evidence, right? The only evidence I have is she was giving my kids melatonin, which, went through the doctor. It was prescribed. I seen the prescription. I went to the store. I got it. They had children's melatonin, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what they were taking at one point. Well, when we moved and got kicked out of the home that we were in because of the situation and moved to another area, I met some neighbors, and it just worked out that my buddy's wife at the time was in the medical field, like nursing or something like that. And we all became friends. Well, the lady next door asked my wife at the time, is there anything you need from the store right here where we're living? Do you have melatonin? Oh yeah, they have melatonin. So she brings back a bottle of melatonin. And I'm talking a full bottle, like a big bottle, right? I don't know how many, probably 50 plus little gummies in there. And so within a week, these gummies are gone. Okay. And asked me, hey, can you go down there and get the melatonin? I said, you're already out? Well, yeah. I said, who is the melatonin for? The kids. At the time, I don't know what melatonin the individual brought over to the house, whether it's adult or child. I'm thinking children.
Yeah.
So when I get there to look, I call her, I said, there's no melatonin for children. Yes, there is. No, there's not. There's only one for adults. And I'm like, she goes, well, it was there. That goes in my head because now you have to understand with all things going on, I'm starting to use my head on a lot of different things now. And I'm looking to try to figure out how I can get my kids and get away from this individual.
Okay.
Because by this time, I think I had an attorney. Maybe I'm pretty sure I did or I didn't. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I might have, or I'm close to getting one at the time. So I go home without purchasing the melatonin, and I'm looking for that bottle, and I find that bottle, and it's adult melatonin. I'm like, oh, you've been giving the kids took all the melatonin? Yeah. I said it in a way to where you're not going to understand what I'm really asking.
Okay.
And my point of it was, oh, you're the kids. Yeah. Oh, so you're giving them adult melatonin. What are you doing? I'm not going to buy that for my kids. So when I look at that aspect of it, and I've also heard that when she was doing daycare, some of these kids came forward and told their parents, yeah, she was giving me stuff and I'd sleep with it. First of all, why are you giving anybody's kids things that their parents don't even know?
Yeah.
Okay. And they wouldn't allow a lot of that into the to the hearing as well, because it didn't pertain to the infant that had passed away. So there was a lot of things going into the end of this trial that they annexed out because it didn't have anything to do with that time.
Yeah,
of the infant.
Her attorney filed something called bad acts. A bad acts. I forget what the terminology is, but you couldn't file anything, or they couldn't use anything that had to do with any bad acts that she had done past or present. So basically, you couldn't use anything against her that she. Yeah,
and they were just trying to show her character during all this on how could it not be anybody when she was doing this with other people? I mean, there's so much more to that part of it that's, insane. But yeah, that's when I found out, like, what else you've been giving them?
Yeah.
Did she give my kids Benadryl? I can't say with 100% she did, but do I believe so? 100% I believe she did.
Yeah.
But I can't say she didn't. Right.
See, and the reason why I say, and again, maybe I'm reaching here, but I don't think I am. I don't think a kid sleeps all day on an overdose of melatonin. On Benadryl, yes. I think.
Oh, Benadryl, yeah. Melatonin, no.
Yeah.
But it would wear them down.
It would wear them down. But
and that was the children's melatonin, I think, was a lower dose than what an adult's would be.
Right.
So yeah, when you start giving them more than what they need, it's gonna,
Yeah.
That's if you think about it, what's the whole point of it? I'm trying to get this kid to chill out so I can do what I want.
That's right.
Okay. And you have to understand that infant had been out in the sun all day. And from my understanding, had sunburned.
Yep.
Right. Probably didn't have a lot of food, cranky. It's in the evening.
Yep.
I'm going to give this child something that I don't have to deal with.
Yep. So now I want to draw this parallel between your son, who had been in bed for most of the day, correct? Most of the day into the afternoon?
My kid?
Your kid, yes.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
And then Abigail Lobish, who expires. When you go back and you think about poor Abigail and you think about your son, tell me about that feeling, about how close you might have came to either your son or daughter expiring under the care of this woman.
Oh, it goes even more than that, because there's more things that occurred prior to that I had found out. I'd found out earlier when they were at that hotel, when that whole situation, my son was lost for 2 hours, at the hotel. And I didn't find that out till way later. So yeah. And when I found out about the whole incident, you got to understand, I was deployed at the time. Mm-hmm. And I woke up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning to, hey, there's been a death in your home. What's the first thing you think? Your kids.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, what? And it's like, yeah, hey, it's not your children. It's somebody else.
Well, that's even
you're
worse.
still like, you're like, okay, not my, well, who is it?
Right.
Right. So yeah, when I look back on things and I look at things, maybe at the time I didn't think about it, but yeah, you're 100% right. I look back, I'm like, yeah, that could easily be my kid.
Yeah.
But it took a situation like this for everything to blow out. Because you don't know what's going on until you start seeing all these. You're going to court. I'm dealing with CPS. I'm dealing with investigators. And I'm like, what is going on? You're seeing pictures. You're seeing evidence. You're seeing, and it's like, whoa. And that's when you're like, I need my kids to be removed from this situation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, 100%. That when I found everything out on a potential of what could have been occurring, yeah, that's the first thing is I need my kids out of this and with me.
Did you have a choice of where your kids went at that point when they said this crazy situation is going on? Does CPS say to you, you get to choose where they go, or do they automatically put them in foster care?
The thing with it is reason CPS was involved is because, of course, there was a death of an infant.
Right.
Okay, so it wasn't CPS coming in as far as like we're taking your kids. It was basically coming in to see if everything was okay in the home, I guess.
Yeah.
To this day, I don't even understand why they were there. It's the only thing I could think of.
Oh, I understand why they're there.
Yeah.
Because
so there was no question of are they going here, there? They were always going to stay in the house.
Well, from an investigator standpoint, I can explain it to you really quick, and that's this.
Yeah.
Even though you're off site and you really don't have anything to do with it, they still consider you a party to it.
Yeah, probably.
Because, I mean, you have some working knowledge that that's going on. So they don't consider that the kids are relatively safe even with you because you do still have a working knowledge that something's going on. So at that point, they have to determine whether the kids are safe at all. So they don't know whether they should put the kids into foster care or if they can even put the kids with your parents. That's why I asked, did they give you any say as to whether the kids go to your parents or if they go to, where they go?
Matter of fact, the worst thing about it was when CPS came to our new home. I was like, "Who are you?" Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to question you and at the time my wife. And I said, "Okay." And they questioned her, but they made me leave the room. And then it was my turn to be questioned. Oh no, we don't have time. We're out of here now.
Yeah, because you don't have much to do with anything. Yeah. So they didn't consider you. They didn't consider you relevant.
Yeah, the whole thing. Yep, but they did. And here's this. I went round and round with CPS. The lady kept trying to say that I wasn't being, what's the word I'm looking for?
Cooperative or forthcoming. Yeah.
She said I wasn't cooperative, that I wouldn't give a statement. And I'm like, you left my house. Like I was there. And then when I told my attorney was like, you're not going to talk to them without us.
Yeah.
Okay. So every time I would tell them, yeah, we can talk, my attorney, no, your attorney can't be present. That was a whole nother thing. CPS was against me for a long time until we went to court one time for a restraining order deal.
Okay.
And then I think once the investigators, because I spoke with them as well, once the investigators updated CPS on everything that was going on, what they had,
yeah.
Now CPS turned around. Now they were with me.
Okay.
And I'm like, what is going on here? Right.
Yeah.
So there was never an instance where they were going to, I mean, I can't say there wasn't, but for me, it didn't give me that information that they're there to take the kids or do this. It was just, let's see what's going on here based on that situation that occurred.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. That makes sense.
It was a wild ride during that too.
Yeah. I suppose they needed to see too that you weren't in her camp. They're always going to assume that you're a united front until they see otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at this point, I was pretty much off the ship. My command had transferred me home, and they're not going to be back for a while. And the base knew what was going on where I was at now, so they were like, "Take care of your stuff." And I was no longer going to be leaving. I was going to be 100% there, so it wasn't like they had to worry about me not ever being there.
Yeah.
So from that day on, I've been with my kids almost every day.
Yeah. Yeah. And thank God you're out of the situation, man. I mean, that's
I'm glad it's over.
Bottom line, right? So how are the kids now? I mean,
They're good, man. Yeah, they're amazing. I got them into school here. They started excelling, had to put in some programs for my kids to do a little better. I mean, yeah, there's going to be, I think there's, with my son so hard, like I said, my daughter has Down syndrome, but she's an amazing kid, man. She's on another level, right? Of just greatness. She's super smart. Yeah, but she doesn't really care, right? Yeah. It's not, and another thing you had to understand is whenever all this was going down and the kids were with me, I had to do these phone calls with, their mother had to do these phone calls. The kids didn't want to do it.
I bet.
And I had to beg them and do it because, of course, I'm going through court, so I don't want no issues for me.
Right.
Right. I'm not being cooperative. So I'm having to fight with these kids. I don't want to do it. And they would spend a minute. Okay, bye, and then leave. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So now that it's all done and we're not, the kids don't ask questions. They don't. I told my son, I had to tell him. He's 9, and so I just said, "Hey, dude, I need to talk to you." Yeah. Showed him some information. He asked a few questions why, and I said, I can't answer the question why. I don't know why. Some people are just this way, and unfortunately, that's who we're dealing with. Yep. And we had a good conversation about it. He understood. I don't talk negative about that individual in front of them. There's no reason for it. Yep. But I'm going to show the facts, right? And I'm going to show him the proof so he can see it. That I'm not lying about it. Right. But I'm dating somebody currently. They love her to death. Yep. And so every time we're together, the kids are just, my daughter will see her, she might come every week or two or a month, depending on what her status is, what she's doing, right, working. But my daughter will see her and immediately start crying and grab onto her. They always ask to talk to her. And that's a crazy thing. They ask to talk to her, but they don't ask to talk to the other one ever. And they just kind of blanked it out. But yeah, they're doing great, man. It's awesome. That's wonderful. I mean, that's wonderful that everything is acclimating to where it has to be. And that's beautiful. Unfortunate, there was an incident where, a child is no longer here. Yeah. And that's the shitty thing. Yeah. And I feel for that family. Right. Absolutely. And I'm going to just say it, dude. I had used that situation to get custody of my kids. Yeah. And it's not the greatest thing, but it's what happened. And that's how I was able to get that. Yeah. But yeah, there's a person that is gone now behind bars, which, and I kind of look at it like, that child was sent here to do that. Unfortunately. Yeah. And again, we do recognize Abigail Lobish and the Lobish family, and we do send prayers to them that the Lobish family, that they, get some sort of comfort and strength and can find a way to move on, because Abigail, again, was their light, was their, was an important part of their family, and they'll never have Abigail again. That's and they continue to have that pain day in and day out, and Abigail will never be replaced. So yeah, it's an unfortunate situation, and we've talked, right? I like I said, I was at the trial. I was on their side with everything, and I think at the beginning there was, they probably didn't understand where I was at, and maybe thought that I was, supporting the other side. Yeah. But then they understood quite quickly that, no, I'm on your side with it, and whatever you need help with, I'm here to help. So that was, I think there's a good bond there, even though the situation, but yeah, all mad respect goes out to that family, and prayers as well. 100%. Good. All right. Well, Aaron Villa, the name of the TikTok series is out there. We have a link to it in the description of this program, Married to an Impostor. And I encourage you guys to go watch it. Man, it'll send chills up your spine. I'm also going to include a link to the sentencing so you guys can really get a look at what psychopathy, what that type of, I'm just going to say what that type of evil looks like. I mean, let's face it. And
And again, folks, it happens on the male side too. That type of abuse, and I highly encourage you, if you're a male out there that's in that type of relationship and you're afraid to speak out, at least seek some sort of therapy, some sort of help, some sort of outreach. Don't be afraid to say something. If you're in that type of relationship, even if it's to a buddy, someone that you can talk to and just reach out and say something, because there is somebody out there who will believe you. There is somebody out there that'll believe you. Aaron, I want to thank you so much for being with us today.
Yeah, I want to thank you, man. Thanks for allowing me to share this story. Thanks for listening to me and giving me the opportunity to put it out there. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you, my friend. Folks, it's time for us to lighten things up a little bit. It's time now for us to bring in Jessica Freeberg. It's time now for Dumb Crimes and Stupid Criminals.
It's Crayon News story time.
What happened with this dude, Christ Bearer? I heard he cut his penis off and then jumped off a balcony.
Suspect pulls gun from butt, shoots twice at Denver police.
What is your emergency?
I need help.
And what's the problem?
I'm too high.
You're too high?
Yeah.
It's that time again, the time you've all been looking forward to. It's time now for Dumb Crimes and Stupid Criminals. And with that, I need a co-hostess. So I will reach my hand across the Twin Cities. And I will pull up someone who is witty, funny, easy on the eyes, has four, is it 4 books now that are out at the same time? By gosh, I don't know. Sooner or later, it'll be an even baker's dozen. I don't know. I think that the publisher is eventually reaching a point where they'll ask something that can't be done of her, although I can't imagine what that'll be. Ladies and gentlemen, here she is, Jessica Freeberg. How you doing, Jess?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing good. Doing good.
Did you have a good weekend?
Well, besides the Vikes losing, yeah, I had a very relaxing weekend.
I forgot about that. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
That's all right. I don't live and die by sports. I think people think I do, but no, it was chilly this weekend. I'm worried about my Spuddy.
Oh.
Although I got to tell you a very interesting story, and then I'll move forward and we can get this segment done. It got to freezing this weekend, finally.
Yes.
It's a little late in coming. Normally, right around Halloween is when we get to that part where the chipmunks go into torpor. But we're at the 10th of November as we're recording this, and Spuddy is up kind of late. She normally she goes to bed about a month ago. So I was in the grocery store, and I was freaking out because I got kind of my sign, right? Sometimes you get a sign.
Yeah.
You know, and I was tooling around the grocery store, and Jess, I got to tell you, sometimes people go, they kind of poo-poo on signs, and they go, yeah, there's no such thing as signs from anywhere, right? I'm in the produce section in the grocery store. You tell me, beginning in November, how rare is it that you see cherries, fresh cherries, in the produce aisle?
This is a little late for them. I would think they wouldn't be there right now.
Never.
No.
I saw bagged fresh cherries in the produce aisle. Mind you, they were going for a pretty penny. But I picked up 1 pound of fresh cherries, Spuddy's favorite, and I managed to get them to her shortly before she went into torpor. They're her absolute favorite.
Aw. You're a good papa. Those had to cost you at least $10.
They were $10 a pound. I was like, I might as well mortgage somebody else's house, because I don't have a house to mortgage, but I might as well mortgage somebody else's house to get those cherries. But yeah, I mean, they're spendy, but she got her cherries. I think she was very happy.
Yay.
Yeah. But
now she's all ready.
Yeah. But just one last little treat before she went down. Yeah.
which sounds kind of like a last meal.
It kind of does, yeah, doesn't it? I don't mean it to be as morbid as it sounds, but I mean, think of it this way, okay? So you're going to go for a long winter's nap. She is older. Keep in mind she's older.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's going to be 5, and that's kind of old for a chipmunk. Chipmunks can live anywhere from.
How old do chipmunks get? I don't even know their.
They can
life
be.
expectancy.
They can be anywhere from 5 to 10 years old.
Oh.
And depending on if they live in captivity or if they live out in the wild.
Right.
Okay. So, and she's got quite the winter coat on her. I'll tell you that much. She's enjoyed her blueberries this year quite a bit.
Good.
I don't want her to die of heart disease while she's down there. But let's just say she's put on quite the winter coat. Yeah. But yeah, let's just say she's pleasantly plump right now.
Good. I think that's good for her. She's happy. It's a good sign.
She's happy, yes. But she's ready for the winter. But yeah, she got her. So I left her 4 cherries and she killed them all. She got rid of them all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, she was very happy before she went to sleep.
Yeah. Well, I think that was a sign.
Yeah.
I love signs. They're my favorite.
Yeah. So there were fresh cherries in the produce aisle. I couldn't believe it. I was like, ugh. Gotta knock me over with a feather. Yeah,
now you get to eat the rest of them.
Yeah, I get the rest of them. I love cherries. And you want to talk about signs, okay? So that was the one thing that I used to share in common with my late grandfather. In the summertime, my late grandfather, my grandpa Dennis, he would go get them from the store. He would make a special trip to Cub to go get fresh cherries in the summertime because that was his all-time favorite fruit. So I kind of think maybe I got a little bit of a nudge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's one of your guardians. He's with you all the time.
Yeah. So I think he said, hey, you know what? Maybe give the kid a little treat before she goes down to, before she goes down to go to sleep for the winter. He was a big nature guy too. So, and he loved to feed the animals. So I think maybe I got a little nudge there.
I think you did. A sign and a nudge all at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. So how was your weekend?
It was good. I can't think of anything. Oh, what did we do? Oh, my best friend from childhood came and stayed with us for the weekend. And we had a little girls' day on Saturday and went shopping in some like old antique stores and thrift shops. It was a blast.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That sounds good. It was a really relaxing weekend.
Yeah, it was nice. It was nice here too. My daughter came home. Like, it's so nice having her back in the Midwest so she can just drive home for the weekend. And
look at that. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Sounds like a wonderful weekend. Yeah.
And then in 2 weeks, we're going down to visit our son. He wants us to come and go to the last Iowa State game of the season. It's his last one because he graduates in May.
Oh.
And he was just telling me him and his roommate have a plan. His roommate's parents are coming back too, and they want to take us to every bar.
Every bar, huh?
I'm like, every bar? I'm not sure I can make it that far.
Jeez. I guess
not for, being drunk. I'm just going to be tired.
Yeah, really. If you'd like, you can borrow my scooter. I could let you take that down with you.
That would be great.
See, you could scooter hop at every bar in Ames. I'm sure that'd be fun. I'm sure you wouldn't be the first person to do it.
Honestly, can't think of the last time I'd been in a bar.
Yeah.
And now I get to go to all of them in one night.
Wow. See, it's a treat.
It should be fun. He's excited.
I'm sure he is. I can't imagine wanting to drag my old man to every bar and anywhere. I don't know that he'd be up for that. He'd be like,
no.
You know what my old man's excuse would be? Nah, I got laundry to do. That's always his excuse whenever he doesn't want to do something. Nah, I got laundry to do. So
mine is always, no, I've got to write a book.
Oh, yeah. See, so, yeah. Well,
but we're going to go. He's excited. We're excited. It'll be great.
There you go. Well, I'm glad you're up for it. I'd get the, I got laundry to do. So, so I'm glad you're open. There you go. Well, we got lots of stories here, Jess. No one who's bar hopping or has laundry to do, but there's boy, there's lots of horrible, horrible stories that we have to get to. We got a purple put the ew in chewing tobacco today. That's a fun story we'll get to today. Boy, we had lots of submissions this week, but we might have to redo the parameters for what's a dumb crime, stupid criminal. I realize people are submitting stuff for rip from the headlines, but we don't do rip from the headlines every week. But it's not necessarily a dumb crime when you kill somebody and then it's just you killed somebody. That's not a dumb crime. That's you got away with it, but you just got caught.
Did I ever tell you, like, the first time we did from the headlines, I didn't realize that it wasn't dumb crimes and stupid criminals at first. And so you were just telling me these horrible stories, and I was like, am I supposed to laugh?
No. Don't laugh at those. No. Yeah.
Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with myself right now.
Yeah. No. Don't laugh at those. No. Those are just tragic.
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
but it took me a minute to realize, we're not doing funny. We're doing horrible things.
Right. We're doing horrible. Right. Yeah.
Tim is just going to depress me today.
No. Yeah, no. And then there's the dessert to the main course after that. There's a payoff, right? And sometimes in dumb crimes, stupid criminals, there's some horrible, and then we pay off at the end.
Yeah, there are. Yeah, it's stupid and horrible all at the same time.
Right. So there's a theme here. We kind of there's a rolling tide, if you will, and then it crashes at the end, and then we all giggle. That's how it works.
That's how it works.
Speaking of, we're going to start that rolling tide. It's not necessarily a good thing, but you'll get it. It pays off at the end. So here's one of those moments where we start the rolling tide. Here we go. Okay. Here's a shocking moment, Jess, where friends cheat death after one lights a cigarette and throws a match on the floor of a gas station.
Oh, yeah, now that's dumb.
Yeah, probably not the moment you want to do that. A man and his friends were just moments from death after one lit a cigarette and caused an explosion at a petrol station. Footage caught the dramatic moment that a huge flame surged into the air after the man dropped a match that he had used, sending him and his friends running for their lives and reaching a trucker who was filling his cab with diesel just a few feet away.
Oh, no.
Yeah. The shocking incident happened in the city of Timon in the northeast Brazilian state of Maranhão. Maranhão? Something like that. My Brazilian is bad. Incredibly, no one was injured in the scare, with the petrol station attendant acting within seconds by using a fire extinguisher to put out the blaze, thank God, which was almost set alight a motorbike between the group and the lorry. Petrol station workers are said to have asked customers to move away from the lorry before the trucker started filling up as a precaution. The near tragedy occurred on Monday night, that was a week ago, at a Petroflex filling station in Timon, located on the Parnaíba River, which forms a natural border with the neighboring city of Teresina in the state of, I believe this is Piauí. By the way, I have a picture of what happened. Look at this, Jess. Guy throws down a match, whoosh, between the tanker and the lorry. Look at that.
Oh my gosh. If that would have got to the tanker, can you imagine how much worse it would have been?
Boom. Everything would have went up. But it was a quick thinking gas station attendant who broke out the fire extinguisher and put that out.
Wow.
Can you
thank
imagine
God.
That gas station attendant has a set of huevos, I'll tell you that much. I don't know that you pay me enough working at a gas station to grab a fire extinguisher and put that out.
I feel like you would just kick into survival mode, though, because if you saw that tanker, you'd be like, oh, snap, I got to get that out before it gets to the tanker.
True. We're all going up if that's the case. Right?
Yeah, we're all going to die.
Yeah. So someone's got to save this situation. All right. We just got done doing a show with Aaron Villa about his ex-wife who ended up killing a child in an illegal daycare, and the signs of mental illness in a mate. Here's a story about a wife who tried to kill her husband and sacrifice him and his son at a Pinellas County home.
Ooh,
the signs are everywhere.
That's next level.
Yeah, that is next level, isn't it? A little tired of the husband and son. Well, sacrifice him to the devil, right? Why not? A wife tried to stab her husband twice at their Seminole home after she said she needed to sacrifice and kill him and their son, according to an arrest report. Oh boy, we're going to Seminole, Florida. Of course, it's a Florida story, Jess. It's our first of many. A man was injured when his wife tried to stab him twice, attempting to kill him after she said she needed to sacrifice him and their son. Pinellas County deputies were called just after 8 a.m. on Tuesday to a home on Terra K Court in Seminole in reference to an assault and battery. When they got there, they found Richard Dietert outside in a robe with a cut on his forearm. You know, that's how any good sacrifice starts, with a nice little cut on the forearm.
That's how you do the blood brother thing, right?
Yeah, well, that's how
not
you get
the finger anymore, just the forearm.
That's how you get the blood oath going. You gotta get it.
Yeah,
nice
go big or go home.
That's right. He told deputies that he woke up to his 58-year-old wife Karen standing over him at 5 a.m. asking, "Where's our son?" When he questioned her, she said, "I need to sacrifice you and kill you both." That's when you go, "Whoa, no, I don't think so, honey." Yeah, woo, stand down. Karen tried to stab him with a large knife, but Richard was able to block the attack, disarm her, and lock himself in a downstairs bedroom. At 7:45 a.m., he left the room to shower, and after she lunged at him with the knife, deputies wrote, she was trying to stab him in the abdomen, but Richard raised his arms to defend himself and was cut on the forearm. While they were fighting over the knife, Karen kept yelling, "I'm going to kill you." To which you say, medication's always an alternative. You gotta yell out things like, "Satan says not to, Satan says to love." And little things that may throw her off,
Hands are not for hurting.
Yep, hands are for loving, not for hurting. God says to love. The voices in your head aren't real. Woo! Yes. Richard was able to disarm her and escape the home when he called law enforcement. Deputies said Karen was still inside the home, so they detained her and put her in a patrol car. She didn't want to talk to law enforcement, but spontaneously said, "These aren't the clothes I was wearing when I stabbed him."
Okay.
Well, it's nice you leave clues, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
The actual evidence is
right.
Inside.
Leave clues to your undoing as you get in the car. That's always fun. She was arrested and charged with attempted first-degree murder. So there you go.
Wow, that's poor guy. Can you imagine waking up to that? Like, you wouldn't know if you were in a fever dream or if it was really happening.
Well, I think at that point it's really happening. When you touch the cut, put your finger in the wound, taste the blood, you're like, well,
when
it's
the
happening.
Blood starts flowing.
That's when the blood starts flowing. Boy, yeah. Then you're when you shit yourself, it's real. Then you start dancing,
Yeah, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Speaking of starting to dance, rip-roaring drunk. This woman was arrested after a brawl spilled into the front yard. Where do you think we're going, Jess?
Florida.
You betcha. A Florida woman is behind bars after a rip-roaring drunk brawl that started as an argument that ended with a street fight against her husband, a firefighter, and law enforcement.
Wow, just everyone.
Well, when you're in a rip-roaring drunk brawl, you don't pick one opponent, you pick many.
Boy, I hope that's not me when I go to all the bars at the college.
I was going to say, if you're going to go to Ames and you're going to get rip-roaring drunk, maybe bring some brass knucks so you're ready to fight, because you're probably going to need them. Oh boy. According to the Polk County Sheriff's Office, by the way, we're going to hear from an old friend in this article. 24-year-old Leilani Sullivan was arrested on October 15th and charged with domestic battery by strangulation, battery on a firefighter, and 2 counts of resisting an officer. That just seems light for what happened here. Deputies were called to a home in Polk City, a quiet town about 40 miles southwest of Orlando, after reports of a domestic disturbance. When they arrived, Sullivan's husband told them his wife had been very intoxicated and started screaming and cursing, because why not? The argument, authorities said, escalated quickly. Sullivan allegedly choked her husband to the point where he couldn't breathe. He could not breathe, the arrest affidavit reads plainly, a small but chilling phrase in an otherwise absurd story. Sheriff Grady Judd, our old friend, recounted the scene in a Facebook video that quickly went viral. Grady Judd says, "Oh, brother, she got rip-roaring drunk," he said. "Took off every bit of her clothes. When we found her, she was in the front yard of the house after biting and slapping around her husband, who dialed 911. So we tried to arrest her, and she didn't like that at all."
Oh, this assault was all while she was naked?
Yeah, she got starkers. I don't have words for it, Jess.
That's just amazing.
Yeah. She got rip-roaring drunk and naked and then decided to start smacking people around.
I'm just over here taking notes so I know how to behave myself when I get to Ames.
There you go. Well, first of all, get naked, get the brass knucks on and start knocking people out. Evidently, it's the lack of clothes that allows you to swing properly. So
right, because all the fabric gets in the way. It's
right.
just aerodynamic if you're nude.
Yeah, that's right. You get a better punch in, I guess. That's what it is. And kick. You can kick better too.
You can get a better chokehold for choking.
That's right. Yeah. Meanwhile, you find out that they're turned on, and it's a lack of oxygen. The breath leaves them faster. They're like, "Oh my God, look at that! Wow!" And then they're out like a light, just like that.
That's right. That's how we win. That's how we win the battles, boys.
That's right. Deputies say Sullivan fought with them as they tried to place her in handcuffs, ignoring multiple commands to stop resisting. She was drunk, naked, and crazy at that point. You think she's going to stop? At one point,
how drunk do you have to be naked and fighting everyone?
Pretty drunk,
wow.
Pretty naked, pretty crazy. I mean, all in one shot. There's more here. There's just so much more.
Wow.
There's so much richness here. Where did my article jumped here? Where were we?
Your article's excited about all of
it.
This.
It is.
Naked
It jumped.
Woman fighting.
It went naked woman fighting, and it went woo, and it jumped. The sheriff's office affidavit paints a vivid picture of the mayhem: an angry, thrashing suspect, arm swinging, officers wrestling her into handcuffs, a crowd of first responders trying to maintain control while attempting to take Leilani into custody. The deputy wrote, "Leilani became very angry and aggressive and was actively tugging and pulling away." That sounds kind of kinky. I mean, deputies say Sullivan fought with them as they tried to place her in handcuffs, ignoring multiple commands to stop resisting. Here we go. At one point, she ended up in a ditch, still unclothed. Polk County Fire and Rescue arrived to assist, and a firefighter and female deputy tried to help Sullivan get dressed. Oh, boy. I've had dreams like this. That, too, ended badly. Sullivan allegedly struck the firefighter in the chest during the attempt to cover her, prompting another struggle before she was eventually taken into custody. In his signature drawl, Grady Judd then wrapped up his recounting of the incident with something resembling a moral. Half warning, half punchline. "How much do you have to drink to rip off all your clothes, slap your husband around, bite him, and then lay him down in the front yard?" he asked. "I can't answer that, but Leilani can."
That's exactly my question.
Yeah, right. Sullivan's being held in the Polk County Jail on a $16,000 bond and is scheduled to appear in court for arraignment on November 18th. By the way,
that was a wild story.
How much alcohol do you think produces this look in a mugshot?
Is that her?
Yeah, that's her.
Oh.
My
You can
guess,
barely keep her eyes open.
my guess is that's a bottle of Jack right there. That's a liter of Jack.
Or Everclear.
Yeah. Boy, she's
Take your poison.
yeah, she's 3 sheets to the wind right there. She's like, are my clothes on right now?
All tuckered out from fighting. That's a lot of work.
Yeah, she is tuckered out, isn't she? This next perp, I'm gonna show you a little picture of him. This guy right here. I'm gonna ask what you think his major crime is. This guy right here.
What did he do? Could it be something to do with Drugs?
Of a different kind, yes. It's a stimulant.
He was stimulating people?
Oh, God, no. Oh, Jess, we're not in not safe for work territory yet, but I like where you're going with it. I like what you're thinking.
Okay.
Yeah, no, not quite there, dear. No.
What did he do?
This perp put the ew in chewing tobacco. We're going to a 7-Eleven where, Jess?
In Florida?
Mm-hmm.
Yay!
A Florida man who apparently mistook a 7-Eleven toilet for a Ritz-Carlton bathroom was arrested for striking a female clerk in the face with a wad of his chewing tobacco.
No.
Due to the convenience store's lack of toilet paper.
Well, that would make someone angry. Been there.
It would, yeah. Investigators, yes, it's a new word I made up, said 40-year-old Dalton Albert entered the Pinellas Park business around 8:30 a.m. to utilize the bathroom. You've seen a picture of him, Jess. People watching video have seen him. Albert subsequently argued with the victim, Razia Sultana, over the lack of toilet paper. According to a criminal complaint, as recorded by a security camera, Albert gathers a wad of tobacco from his mouth and throws it at the victim, striking her in the face. That's not very nice.
That was nasty.
Yeah, it is. An officer who responded to the 7-Eleven reported that Sultana had remnants of the defendant's spit and tobacco on her face and clothing. Thank you very much.
Ugh.
Yeah, that paints a picture, doesn't it? Charged with misdemeanor battery, Albert was booked into the county jail. He was released this past morning after posting how much bond, Jess? How much bond for getting a little chew and spit all over you?
Oh. It's got to be pretty low in Florida, especially.
Yeah.
They're like, just another day.
Mm-hmm.
How about 5,000?
Go a little lower.
A little lower.
Mm-hmm.
2,000?
A little lower.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Is it even 1,000? Or is it
You
like
got
$500?
it. $1,000. Yep.
Okay.
$1,000.
That doesn't seem, I mean, that's kind of like assault. What if he has like a communicable disease and he's throwing spit on her?
Right.
That's gross.
I know. Yeah. But it was only $1,000.
Huh.
According to court records, Albert's rap sheet includes convictions for passing bad checks, marijuana possession, theft, driving with a revoked license, and careless driving. So it's not his first roundabout or rendezvous with the police.
Yeah. And this seems like an escalation, actually assaulting someone with your chewing tobacco.
Yeah.
What's next?
That's right. You're right, Jess. What's next? That's a good question. Very good question indeed. We got a couple of food-related stories. These are always my favorite. Because people get really weird and really passionate about food, Jess. I don't know what it is, you know? When you get hangry, you get weird.
Oh, yeah.
What's the weirdest thing you've ever done for food? I mean, maybe I shouldn't put it that way, but let's talk violence. What's the weirdest thing you've ever done for food?
I mean, I don't know if I've ever done anything physical or gotten angry over food. I mean, I do get crabby, though, when I'm hungry. Like,
you ever gotten I'm
usually not crabby.
You ever gotten in an argument and thrown food at somebody?
Only when we were supposed to be having a food fight, which was funny.
Yeah.
But not because I was mad. I would never waste food. I was a poor kid.
Like at the beginning of this program, I was talking about at one time I was in an abusive relationship. I've had plates thrown at me. I've actually had food thrown at me.
Crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, I've had full plates of food thrown at me. Yeah.
I hate that. That bothers me. You're so sweet. That makes me mad.
No, I didn't mean to make you mad. That wasn't part of it. But I mean, that's yeah. So I mean, people do weird things when it comes to food.
Yeah, people do weird things.
Yeah.
Especially when they're emotionally charged. But plate of food, huh? What kind of food was it? Was it like pasta? Was it like flying through the air, all wiggly and squiggly? And
I wish the pasta would have been easy to take. No, it was a full roast dinner with potatoes and carrots.
he wasted potatoes?
and carrots and gravy.
I mean, that's a sin.
I know.
And it's not nice.
No. Mm-mm.
Hmm.
And boy, I'll tell you this much. A roast doesn't slide off the wall. It bounces. The potatoes would, and then it slides because it's mashed potatoes. It slides.
And then I would have been licking the potatoes off the wall because that's my favorite food in the world.
Yeah, I mean, it's you kind of wash off the roast too because you're hungry.
So do we have people throwing food in these stories? What's happening?
No. I'm just saying that that was just an example. No, this is much worse. You ready for this?
Okay.
I'm going to show you a picture of this young lady right here. And I'm going to have you take a guess as to what she did. What kind of food do you think she was hankering for?
I mean, it's hard to say. I'm going to go with some fast food.
Yes, fast food.
Okay.
What fast food do you think is worth going to jail for?
Well, I do love Chick-fil-A, so I also love Kentucky Fried Chicken.
You're close. We're going the chicken route here.
Are we?
Yes. I find it interesting that more people are willing to go to jail for Raising Cane's and its sauce.
Was it Raising Cane's?
Yes.
That's great. I should have guessed because she looks younger, and the younger generation is obsessed with Raising Cane's.
They are. They go nuts.
It's just all right. I don't hate it, but
it's just chicken tenders, and it's just
I wouldn't pick it. Yeah,
I wouldn't
pick it on purpose.
I wouldn't kill anybody for Raising Cane's, but the younger generation would.
Yeah,
they don't realize that Raising Cane's. Okay, like this is the second time now I'm bringing up my stepdad. God rest his soul. But Pop used to be able to make that in a pan in the kitchen.
Yeah,
the exact same recipe as Raising Cane's. He used to make that in the kitchen.
Well, you were lucky.
Oh,
it's pretty tasty chicken.
He made some damn good fried chicken. I'll tell you that. He if he were here today, he'd go Raising Cane's. Shit, I'll make that right now in the pan. You don't need no Raising Cane's. I'll make you fried chicken right now. And he'd make it right there in the pan.
And the line to Raising Cane's is outrageous. It'll go like around the block.
Yeah. And it's nothing special.
I didn't think so.
No, it's nothing special. Now, this woman ran over several pedestrians at Raising Cane's.
What?
Used them as speed bumps. Ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum.
She had to get to her chicken.
Yep. Can't keep her away from it. And the sauce, believe it or not, is nothing special. When you find out what their sauce is.
It's okay.
Yeah. According to an arrest affidavit, on Halloween, of all days.
Man, Halloween was a crazy time.
At 2:21 a.m., an Austin police officer responded to a crash at the Raising Cane's at 1819 San Antonio Street. The report said several pedestrians had been hit in the parking lot. When officers arrived, they spoke with 21-year-old Antonia Garcia Rios. Garcia Rios said she and her friends were picked up by another friend after partying on 6th Street. The group then went to Raising Cane's in the drive-through lane, which is always a bad idea. Never knew. While in the lane, the driver hopped out of the truck to use the restroom inside. Garcia Rios then hopped into the driver's seat of the Ford F-150. However, the driver still had the key when they went inside the building, so the truck did not move without the key present.
Oh.
Bad idea.
Conundrum.
2:21 a.m., you take the key and go inside. Bad idea. When the driver came back to the truck, they sat in the back seat, leaving Garcia Rios in the driver's seat. The truck engine restarted now that the key was in the truck. Garcia Rios then started driving forward. Video showed the truck jerk forward and drive onto the sidewalk. At that time, there were several pedestrians standing on the sidewalk. Oop, we froze.
Yeah.
Sorry, hold on a second here. 40, 45. Okay. So video showed the truck jerk forward and drive onto the sidewalk. At that time, there were several pedestrians standing on the sidewalk. Bad idea. Bad idea indeed. 4 people, Jess, were injured. 3 were taken to a local hospital for serious injuries.
No.
That had to jerk pretty hard up onto the sidewalk in order to injure that many people.
Yeah, it must have gone kind of fast.
Yeah. Garcia Rios was arrested and charged with intoxication assault. Just goes to show you, don't leave your drunk friend with the keys in the Raising Cane's drive-thru.
Nope. Bad idea. Well, I'm glad no one was killed. Thank God.
Yeah. 2:21 in the morning. Okay, the other food-related story. I'm going to ask you real quick. I'm going to try and get this properly so you don't see what this guy's name is. What do you think this guy's nickname is? Or name?
Oh, well, you could go with something like Hank or Refrigerator, or he was like a big dude.
Yeah, big dude. You're right. Refrigerator would be a good name for him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You would think. Okay.
What is it?
Well, let me tell you. It is food related. But this man named Pancake battered his elderly father.
He did not look like a pancake to me.
He doesn't. Well, he looks like he enjoys a few pancakes.
Yeah.
Probably on the regular. A man named Pancake battered his elderly father, leaving the victim with severe bruises and swelling to his eyes and face, according to police, who arrested the alleged assailant on a felony charge. Investigators say that Eric Thomas Pancake, 38 years old, pummeled his 72-year-old parent during a family dispute on Tuesday evening in the Palm City home owned by the victim and his 66-year-old spouse. Pancake is married to a woman 30 years his senior.
Huh. Crazy. Is that his last name?
That's his last name. Pancake.
Pancake.
Yeah.
Huh.
Pancake, who apparently resides with his parents, struck his father on the face and body. When police arrive at the residence, the victim had severe bruises and swelling to his eyes and face, consistent with multiple strikes, as he described. Pancake, cops report, appeared intoxicated and belligerent and said he pleads the fifth in response to law enforcement questions, though he proceeded to turn around and place his hands behind his back. So I think he knew he was guilty.
He's like, I'm in trouble.
Yeah, he knew he did it. Charged with battery on a victim over the age of 65, which is a felony, Pancake was booked into the Martin County Jail, from which he was released upon posting how much bond for battering a pancake.
And where are we at again?
I believe this is Florida.
Okay. Well,
it's elder
that's
abuse.
Pretty bad. So let's go with $20,000.
Go lower.
Really?
Yeah, it's elder abuse, but it's also Florida. So they're beating up the elderly a lot.
Felony. All right. So I'm going to go real low then, maybe $5,000.
You got it. $5,000.
Really?
Yeah.
That does not seem like enough for beating the crap out of an old man.
It doesn't, but there you go. That's exactly what it was.
Florida, do better.
That's right. Do better. Do better, Florida. All right. With that, we have an extensive not safe for work category this week. That's right. Lewd, nude, and crude. You people are disgusting, and we're going to get into it now. With that, get your kids in the closet, get your boss in the office. We'll do it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. This one sent in by one of our listeners. By the way, if you have a story for us, you can send it to me at tim@darknessradio.com. An accused stalker uses Grindr to send strangers to a victim's home for over a year. God,
Gross. Why?
Guess where this one is?
Florida.
Wisconsin.
Oh, it's basically the same state.
If it's creepy, stalker, sexy, or sexual material, it's got to be Wisconsin.
Oh, Molly.
Yep. People in Wisconsin now are going to be like, no fear. No, it is.
They do have more serial killers. They have that going
That's
for
right.
them.
And they're sexual serial killers. Dahmer, Geen. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Wisconsin man was arrested Tuesday for stalking after police said he used Grindr to send strangers to a victim's home as a form of harassment.
That is really, really evil.
Yeah. Matthew J. Hubschman is accused of what police call a year-long pattern of disturbing and intrusive behavior. Police say Hubschman used the dating app Grindr to arrange meetings between unknown men and the victim. Imagine that. Now imagine, okay, Jess, imagine, okay, I'm going to read the story and then I'll set this up.
In Grindr, that's like just a hookup one. It's not.
Yes.
They're going there for one thing.
Yes. Hubschman would pose as the victim, according to police, then direct the men to the victim's home and instruct them to enter the residence upon arrival. Yeah, creepy. Over the course of more than a year, numerous men arrived at the victim's home under these false pretenses. Police said the harassment created a constant sense of fear and distress for the victim and their household. The suspect reportedly positioned himself nearby to watch the men arrive, and police said that ultimately led to his arrest. So this creep set it up and then went and watched in the bushes.
Wow, that is so creepy.
Yeah, you're still the creepiest state, Wisconsin. Sorry. Yeah. Hubschman was taken to the Outagamie County Jail for one count of stalking. He appeared in court on Wednesday when a judge said, how much bond, Jess? Because again, Wisconsin still is the creepiest state.
It can't be very high. I mean, it's going to be less than 5,000, right? It's going to be
A little bit higher.
a little higher. Okay, good for you, Wisconsin. I'm proud of you. Maybe 7,000?
$10,000.
Okay, 10,000.
It's still, throw away the key.
No, that's not enough.
The judge also ordered Hubschman to stay away from the victim and dating apps, including Grindr. A preliminary hearing took place earlier this week, but we don't have an update on the story. The Appleton Police Department said it takes all reports of stalking and harassment seriously. Evidently not that seriously. Anyone with information related to the case can contact Appleton Police. Creepy. By the way,
Super creepy.
very creepy. By the way, we found the worst school district in the United States.
Whoa.
And it's been rocked with its fourth arrest of a teacher in weeks.
No way.
Not months, Jess, not years, weeks.
What is happening at that school district?
Evidently nothing good. Not learning, I'll tell you that much. Where do you think this school is?
Well, is it either Florida or Wisconsin? I don't know. Don't tell me it's Iowa.
Nope. It's in Texas.
Oh, I'm kind of surprised. I feel like Texas is kind of buttoned up, right?
No. Mm-mm.
No?
Evidently there you can get away with it.
And they just not doing criminal background checks or what?
I guess. A troubled Texas school district has been rocked by the fourth arrest of a teacher in recent weeks, the most recent being a special ed worker who allegedly showed up to class while impaired. Michael Clark, who is a 46-year-old teacher's aide from Salina Independent School District, was taken into police custody after she appeared to be impaired, authorities said. Clark was taken to the Collin County Jail and booked on a charge of endangering a disabled individual. Clark is the fourth Salina ISD employee to be arrested in recent weeks. The string of arrests that left residents in the district, which is located outside of Dallas, frustrated. There's a failure here, top to bottom, on doing their job, said attorney Brad Beckworth, who filed a lawsuit over one of the recent arrests, according to WFAA. In one of the other arrests, William Caleb Elliott was charged in early October with invasive visual recording and booked into the Collin County Jail, the Salina Police Department announced at the time. Authorities said a charge of possession or promotion of child pornography was later added. Elliott, who's 26, was a sixth grade history teacher and eighth grade coach at Moore Middle School. He had been placed on administrative leave indefinitely and then later resigned, according to WFAA. A lawsuit brought on behalf of the families of Moore Middle School students against Elliott, and the district claimed that the educator had been moved to the middle school after having an inappropriate relationship with a student while working at Salina High School. He's all kinds of ick.
Ugh.
Salina Independent School District Athletic Director Bill Elliott, who is the suspect's father, was put on leave after the arrest. So was Allison Ginn, the principal of Moore Middle School. I understand the corruption from top to bottom. Isn't this fun?
This is really distressing.
Yeah. I understand your anger. I understand your frustration. I get it. It's horrible. He will face the consequences that had come to him, Bill Elliott said at a recent school board meeting. On October 10th, a 50-year-old paraprofessional with the Salina ISD was arrested and accused of getting in a fight outside of school property. Christine Coates was booked into the Collin County Jail on a charge of injury to a child, elderly, disabled individual. She resigned from the district after his arrest. Moore Middle School teacher Jania Walder, who's 40, was arrested last week after she appeared to be impaired on the job. Another one drunk on the job, Jess. The Salina Police Department said she was charged with endangering a child. Neil Phillips, a world geography teacher and head wrestling coach at Salina High School, was placed on administrative leave after the school district was informed about allegations of inappropriate conduct when he was working at nearby Melissa ISD. This according to CBS Texas. Officials said he did not tell the Salina that he was under investigation for allegations at another school. The Independent has reached out to Salina ISD and Melissa ISD for comment. The Independent, which is the article that I'm reading, is the one that gathered all this information for the article.
It's literally insane.
Isn't it?
Like, how do you get that many degenerate teachers in one school?
Either there's something in the water there, or they don't run background checks at all.
Yeah, or the interview process is like, okay, well, what's your favorite liquor? And do you like to drink it, between like 7 a.m. and noon? Perfect. You're hired.
Yeah.
Also, what do you think of this picture of this naked child? Does that get you excited?
Yeah.
Perfect.
By the way, there's no firewalls on any of the computers in the teacher's lounge, and there's open bar. So help yourself.
Yep.
Yeah.
Open bar in the teacher's lounge.
That's crazy.
That's really scary.
That's insane. Oh, and by the way, if you want to punch a kid out, go ahead. I mean, just don't leave any marks. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not frowned upon here. We encourage it.
Yeah, just put on a boxing glove or something if you're going to punch him out.
Oh, wow. Those poor parents.
Oh, I mean, honest to
Be
God.
like, we are homeschooling.
Yeah, right. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. All right. Let's see. Let's do some self-editing here. Okay, here we go. Now we're getting into it. For this next story, we're going to stay here at home. We're going to stay in Minnesota.
Okay.
A Minnesota man who's all of 66 years old was naked and not afraid, according to police. Better yet, Jess, I think there's a chainsaw involved in this story.
Dude, with the chainsaw?
Yeah.
Feels like a Florida story.
No. Right here in Minnesota. Throwing caution and his clothes to the wind, a 66-year-old Minnesota man was spotted outside his home chainsawing while butt-ass naked, according to police. Because I know when I'm trying to cut firewood for the winter, I like to do it butt-ass naked. I mean, just take danger right into your hands, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's just trying to enjoy the not freezing air before it gets super cold. I don't blame him entirely.
Oh, my God. Police say the suspect was frequently spotted in the all-together by neighbors that way, by the way.
Really? This is just like what he does.
Not his first excursion out into the wild.
It's kind of a nudist, only he doesn't live in a nudist community.
Right. Yeah. Paul Severson was charged Tuesday with disorderly conduct in connection with alleged nude displays outside his residence in the city of Lake Crystal. After interviewing multiple witnesses, a sheriff's deputy observed a nude Severson appear from behind a shed. The cops advised Severson that he could not be naked outside with children around and people driving by. Neighbors reported that Severson did yard work while nude, with one eyewitness saying the suspect was chainsawing while butt-ass naked. That is a quote. Severson was named in a November 4th misdemeanor complaint 2 weeks after a witness told police that one of the children saw him naked for the first time as the child rode the bus to school that morning.
The bus was going past.
Yes, the bus was going past, and he was out there.
Oh my gosh!
Waving
What
to
is
the
wrong with
kids.
people?
He was like, "Have a good day at school," and he was doing the helicopter while he was waving at the same time. It's a little trick he does for the kids.
Oh my!
Yeah. If you don't know what the helicopter is, I can't display it for you on video, and I won't.
No, you don't.
Oh,
We're gonna have to get you a job at that school in Texas.
Yeah. I need a
Yeah,
I need a job at the Saline ISD.
You're like, no, I do not have a degree in education, but look what I can do with my penis.
That's right. Check this out, kids. Look, it's physics. Yeah.
I feel fully qualified to be a science teacher. Thank you very much.
That's right. Sometimes, Jess, when you're soliciting a hooker, it turns out that the cop busting you is busting a fellow cop.
Oh, that hurts.
Yeah. Sometimes it's like the Spider-Man meme. Spider-Man is webbing up Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That's what we have here.
Oops.
Turns out that the Cheshire police chief got caught soliciting sex by another cop.
The chief.
Yeah. Whoops.
Dang.
We go to Cheshire, Massachusetts, where the Berkshire District Attorney's Office announced that Michael Alabozic, who is the chief of the Cheshire Police Department, was taken into custody on Thursday night. The 53-year-old Adams man is accused of trying to solicit sex in exchange for a fee. As opposed to what? Exchange for a hot dish? I don't know what exchange for a fee is, but Alabozic was arrested around 9:45 p.m. on November 6th in the parking lot of the Hoosac Valley Middle and High School. So he went to a high school, middle and high school, to get a hooker.
There's so much wrong with this situation.
I know. He allegedly believed he would be meeting someone there for previously agreed upon sexual acts, but investigators confirmed that Alabozic had actually been communicating with an undercover detective with Massachusetts State Police's Berkshire State Police Detective Unit. Cheshire Town Administrator Jennifer Morse relieved Alabozic, not like that, of his duties and placed him on paid leave while proceedings are underway. His police-issued firearm was subsequently seized, and his access to the town's police station was revoked. The town of Cheshire takes these matters seriously and fully cooperating with the investigative and judicial processes. Morse stated, the Board of Selectmen has been informed and is addressing the matter in the best interests of the town of Cheshire. Now, Morse confirmed that former Chief Timothy Garner was appointed as administrative consultant on Friday while officials worked to name an interim police chief, and that the town has reported the case to the Massachusetts Peace Officer Standards and Training Commission, or Post Commission. Alabozic was released on his own recognizance after being arraigned in Northern Berkshire District Court on November 10th. His next court appearance is scheduled for December 22nd. Merry Christmas to him. Let's hope he can keep it in his stocking. At least until then. Right. How would you like to show up thinking you're getting a hooker and there's a cop? And you're the police chief.
And that is like the ultimate fall from grace, all the way from the top.
Right? I mean, that's like, yeah. That's pretty shocking. All right. Our next story, I don't know about you, Jess, but I've got the perfect plan for you after you've gotten a few drinks in you down there in Ames.
Okay.
And you've got the brass knucks on. You're ready to go. You're ready for a little action down there.
All right. Ready to fight.
You stripped off the clothes. Maybe instead of a fight, maybe whipping some shitties there in the church parking lot. Maybe that's the way you want to go. Because
I do like whipping shitties. They're fun.
Yeah, they're fun.
Especially back in Iowa when it's snowy.
That's right. Yeah, see, you might have a little snow down there. Maybe you have an alternate plan here. We're going to South Carolina for this. According to South Carolina cops, however, they weren't crazy about one nude driver who was spinning in circles around the church parking lot. They say, nope, sacrilege, we're taking you to jail. A report of someone stunt driving at night in a church parking lot grew even stranger when officers discovered the driver wasn't wearing any pants. According to investigators in South Carolina's Low Country, it happened on Sunday, November 2nd at a church in North Charleston, police said in a November 3rd news release. Officers responded around 10:45 p.m. to a report of a nude man driving recklessly on Nesbitt Avenue. When they arrived, officers found empty beer cans and tire marks consistent with the vehicle spinning in circles. North Charleston police said in a news release. How is this different than NASCAR? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
You know?
Naked NASCAR?
Yeah, half-naked NASCAR. I mean, how is it different, right? Well, patrolling...
Maybe they don't have their pants on in the NASCAR races. We don't know.
We don't know that for sure. I mean, the camera is only from the top up, right? We don't know for sure. While patrolling the area, officers received another call about a car stopped in the roadway on James Bell Drive with its horn blaring and traffic blocked. The driver was found wearing only underwear and a tank top with a blanket or robe wrapped around him. That sounds legit. The 36-year-old North Charleston man also smelled strongly of alcohol, police said. His vehicle was searched, revealing a scale and white powder that tested presumptive for cocaine base. So we've graduated.
Shocking.
Yeah, we've graduated. Court records indicated that the driver also had outstanding warrants for pointing and presenting a firearm and malicious damage to property. He was arrested and charged with possession of cocaine base, pointing and presenting a firearm, and malicious injury to real property, as opposed to fake property. I don't know. But something to think about, Jess. Something to think about. All right. Now, I don't know about you. I don't know if you sometimes have issues with, having to wait at public restrooms when you're in public and people hog in the facilities and you're like, come on, I got to get in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you really got to go.
You got to go, right? Have you ever gotten that upset that you've threatened violence?
No.
No? Well.
Not over a toilet.
Again, we're going to Florida because someone had to go, and someone had to go violently.
Oh.
I love me some Publix, by the way. It's a great grocery store chain.
Okay.
One man evidently loves the Publix bathroom so much he had to pull a knife on a victim at Publix for taking too long in the bathroom.
What? Wow, that is crazy.
I think Publix should change the slogan of their grocery store to "Dropping a deuce is so divine at Publix, you'll pull a knife on someone." I think that's what they should change their slogan to.
I think so. It's a little long, but I think it'll work.
I think you could sing it in a jingle. Dropping a deuce is so divine, you'll pull a knife every time. What do you think?
I like the way you rhymed it at the end.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Florida man pulled a knife on a victim at a Miami Publix because he was taking too long in the bathroom. It does sound like the guy really had to go. How many times have you heard stories like this on Dave and Chuck the Freak? It says here, it must be a Miami morning show. The past couple of months, there have been a lot of them. People really have to go to the bathroom and will do anything to get there and don't want anybody holding them up. It happened, though.
I've never had to go that bad.
I guess not, huh? The incident, by the way, the incident led to the arrest of 72-year-old Alfredo Brindis. Yes, a 72-year-old did this. Thankfully, the victim was able to use his large book bag to defend himself from the knife. Brindis said he really needed to use the restroom and that the victim didn't move, so he took out the knife. Per Local 10, Brindis was charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. To make things even weirder, all that happened around 9 a.m. Not exactly the way to start your morning.
Oh, so he probably wasn't even like drunk or anything. He's just straight up crazy.
He just really had to drop a deuce. Yeah. By the way, this is what Alfredo Brindis looks like when he's got to drop a deuce.
Oh, He does look angry.
Yeah, he does look like he's really got to go.
Yeah.
Maybe
He's full of it.
maybe the brand kicked in. You know?
I mean, yeah. Or maybe someone put some of that chocolate laxative in his breakfast and he didn't know it. And he's like, oh.
Whoa, gotta go. Get off that toilet. I will shiv you. All right. This next story is not necessarily going to happen where you think it would happen. When you think of, again, people needing relief, you wouldn't necessarily think the state of Ohio.
No.
No. But our next story is about a sex toy thief.
Oh, in Ohio?
In Ohio. Let me give you a picture of, first of all, male or female?
Female.
Female? Well, let me show you a picture of her. There she is right there.
Oh, that's a male.
Yep. You see what I did there?
That's an ugly woman.
No, you said it, I didn't. This sex toy theft suspect is wanted for serial shoplifting from an Alliance Meyer. A man allegedly involved in several thefts from the Meyer in Alliance, Ohio, is now accused of stealing sex toys from there. According to police, they've confirmed that, by the way. And officers need your help in identifying the suspect. The Alliance Police Department said the sex toy theft happened on Sunday night, November 2nd. Because on the day of our Lord, he's looking for a jackhammer Jesus. Just saying. Take a close look at the surveillance video photo if you're watching on video. Or tell you what, I'll post this in the description of this program because somebody needs to get a hold of this dildo Donnie. You can call Private Detective Reagan at 330-821-9140 if you recognize him or have any other information on this guy. We need to get him at all costs. He's stealing people's pleasure for his own.
On a Sunday, no less.
On a Sunday, no less, Jess. The day of our Lord.
So bad.
So horrible.
Keeping the Sabbath holy.
That's right. He's keeping something holy, I'll tell you that much. He's got them coming and going, if you know what I mean. Speaking of keeping them coming and going, here's our last story for Not Safe for Work today, and then we've got our palate cleanser. A Mile High duo finally gets off.
Oh.
Not in the way you think, though.
Okay.
A married couple that tried to get off on JetBlue got jet blown as they faced felony raps. The two of them. By the way, did you know it's a felony to try and join the Mile High Club?
Is it really?
Yes, it is.
Huh?
Let me show you.
I don't see how it's even possible in those tiny little bathrooms. I can barely get myself on a toilet in there.
Oh, I know. Let me show you
Oh,
picture of our
a
happy
cute couple.
Yeah. They tried to join the Mile High Club on JetBlue, of all places. Seems redundant, doesn't it? Budget airline going into a budget bathroom and trying the impossible. The married couple arrested for allegedly joining the Mile High Club in view of other JetBlue passengers has gotten off, according to court records. Prosecutors have declined to pursue felony charges against 43-year-old Trista Riley and 42-year-old Christopher Arnold, who were en route to Sarasota, Florida from New York City when they engaged in lewd or lascivious exhibition, according to a probable cause statement. Following the pair's July 19th arrest by Sarasota Airport Authority police, prosecutors consented to the defendant's release or their own recognizance when they investigate jurisdiction, a court filing noted. That case review resulted in October 30th court notices revealing that prosecutors had dropped criminal charges against Riley and Arnold, who reside in Connecticut. The court filings do not cite a reason for the declination, or whether the decision was related to the legal question of jurisdiction. A female passenger told cops that she was traveling with her two children when, during the takeoff, so to speak, from JFK International Airport, she spotted a woman later identified as Riley, quote unquote, jerking off her male companion. She noticed.
What?
Yeah. She noticed.
Just right there in the seat. They didn't even go in the bathroom.
Yeah. She's just, churning butter. She noticed that my 2 kids were watching them and they didn't stop. After that, she was laying on him like she was doing oral sex. That was the quote.
I would be so upset if I had children and that was happening.
Okay, if you didn't have children and that was happening, would it be a different thing?
I mean, I wouldn't be angry. I would just be disgusted. But if my kids were seeing that, I would actually be mad.
Brian Zepp, a JetBlue flight attendant, told police that several youths and their mother had witnessed Riley and Arnold performing in sexual activity on board JetBlue Flight 163 JFK to SRQ. Zepp added that he walked to Ms. Riley's seating area in the 25th row and witnessed her making up and down movements with her head. No, she wasn't imitating a chicken, while she was face down on Mr. Arnold's lap. Investigators noted that further investigation indicated that Ms. Riley was seen by 2 underage youths performing oral sex and jerking off Mr. Arnold. That's a quote. It is unknown if Riley, a medical receptionist, and Arnold, the general contractor, will be welcome on future JetBlue excursions. My guess?
Why?
Probably not.
Why? I don't get why you would have to do it like that in your seat.
It's a long flight.
You don't know anything. Weird.
The pressure of the airplane.
So
pressure of the airplane got to him. He had spontaneous lift combustion in his groin. I don't know.
Oh, they're like not. I thought maybe they were younger. They're old enough to have some self-control.
Yeah, they are. They're in their 40s. I mean,
That's so weird to me.
And they're in their 40s and they're married. I mean, it's not like,
Huh. When they're going on vacation, wait till you get to the hotel room. What is happening here?
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, maybe they just couldn't keep their hands off each other.
Ew, think how dirty that seat is after they were in it. Oh, I'm throwing up. Ugh,
Well,
gross.
unless Jess, let's think of the obvious. Unless she swallows, then there's no trace. See, all done, all clean.
Oh.
I mean, I had to bring up the obvious. You're gonna, just saying. Yeah. I hate to bring it up, but.
Well, it's still gross. She's jacking him off and it's all over her hand, and then she touches the armrest and changes the channel on the TV or whatever.
What?
Touching everything with her nasty penis fingers.
Her nasty penis fingers. Again, unless she had sanitary wipes with her.
I mean, maybe. She doesn't strike me as someone who's really
You don't think she's got
concerned about such things.
You don't think she's got the stuff with her? You don't think she's...
I don't think so. She seems nasty.
No, she is...
I take back what I said about them looking like a cute couple.
She is in the medical field. Maybe she's, maybe she's got the Purell with her,
Yeah. Ooh. I hope
Maybe-
she didn't put it on before she did the deed, because get that in a little script.
What if she got that and the lube mixed up? Maybe she's jacking him off with the Purell, and he's like, whoa. Yeah, maybe there's that. I mean, that could have happened. Totally,
Wow, what a story!
Totally could have happened, right? I mean,
Anything's possible
anything's possible
on this show.
That's right. Anything's possible on this show. The possibilities are. That story makes me laugh. They ended up not getting charged though. So
Yeah, how did they get away with that?
I don't know. A jurisdiction thing is how it happened. Yeah. Sometimes you can't line up the jurisdictions especially when it's a federal crime, by the way.
All the judges got it on their desk and they're like, not it.
Yeah, not it. Yeah, you can figure that out. Not it. Not me.
I am not dealing with this.
Not it. Not me. Not this time. So sorry. Sorry about your damn luck. That's what they said. All right. Palate cleanser, because I'm sure most of us need one after thinking about the logistics of how they cleaned up. Thanks, Jess. I wasn't going to go that far, but you did. I got two quick stories here. First of all, it's a judo move. It's a move within a move within a move to prove you really are what you say you are. And then I have another story that's actually kind of an enlightening and kind of a feel-good story.
Okay.
That you can be whatever you want to be, no matter what age you are, and you can be a kid at heart.
Oh, I love it.
Even though you're probably not good at what you do anyways at that age, but you can be whatever you want to be, even though you're a kid at heart.
Right. You get to a point where you just don't care.
That's right. That's right. And senility is a great thing. That's how we'll end the show. Okay. I find this story very, very funny because some people are just obnoxious and deserve this anyways. So here we go. A kid called her a Karen at a New Jersey amusement park, but it's not enough to sue according to court rules. Yes, sometimes Karens are Karens, and they just need to find out the hard way. You ready for this story, Jess?
I am.
An appeals court has upheld the dismissal of a lawsuit filed by a New Jersey woman who claimed she was ridiculed and labeled a Karen by children at I Play America in Freehold, and that workers did nothing to stop the harassment. Wah, wah.
And so she wants to sue them.
She
wants
to sue children for calling her a Karen because she's a Karen. And a judge said, you know what? You're a Karen. Deal with it. The 55-year-old Edison woman claimed in court papers that she was attending a birthday party with her 2 minor children on October 9th of 2022 when an employee incorrectly told her she did not meet the minimum height requirement for the IPA Speedway go-kart ride. This is where it all starts.
Oh, wow.
The woman told a worker and his supervisor, of course, that she had previously been given access to the ride several times without issue. While the employee and a manager were speaking with the plaintiff, children waiting in line behind her became upset and began to shout at her because of the delay, calling her a white bitch and a Karen.
What? Pretty bad.
You know, when you're holding up the line because you want to go on worse than the kids, you need to get out of line, right?
Yeah.
The woman was terribly embarrassed and humiliated by these events and felt discriminated against, oh my God, because she was wrongfully denied access to the IPA Speedway go-kart ride, the lawsuit said. After being denied access, the woman had to go back through the line past the children who were yelling at her, according to the suit.
Oh.
Don't feel sad for her. Don't do it.
It's awkward.
She deserved it. This caused her to feel terribly embarrassed and humiliated, court documents state. According to court documents, the mother's discomfort was magnified because her 2 minor children were present for the entire event. They should be embarrassed.
Yeah, that's embarrassing, Mom.
At that point, when someone's like, you're not tall enough to ride this ride, she should just go, can I talk to your supervisor over here? And I don't want to cause a scene, but, you know, I've rode this ride before. Let me just step out of line and I'll talk over here to him and just let the kids ride because they need to ride.
I wonder how short this lady is.
4'2".
All the kids can ride, but she can't.
Right. So what is she like? 3'8"? What? I mean, come on.
Middle.
The woman's lawsuit alleged I Play America was negligent in not allowing her on the ride and that the business breached its duty of care by not preventing other guests from yelling at her. So, yes, they needed to stop people from yelling at her.
It's wild to me that this is like in her brain. She's like, I'm suing you. Like, go, I mean, just, you know, hang your head in shame.
I need you to squash other people's freedom of speech.
That's crazy.
That is a Karen. In a decision on Friday, October 31st, a state appellate court upheld the dismissal. We are unpersuaded by plaintiff's arguments and determined the trial court did not err in its findings. The appeals court wrote an 11-page decision. It took 11 pages to write that out. Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. The appeals court stated it did not condone the child's or children's derogatory comments. However, I Play America's responsibility to provide a safe environment does not extend to protecting patrons from derogatory and pejorative comments. Preventing certain communications between patrons is not feasible, the decision states. In other words, we can't watch your kids' mouths. You're supposed to do it.
That's true.
Yeah.
If they could, they should hire them as teachers.
That's right.
But not in Texas.
Not in Texas. Thank you, Jess. Thank you for bringing that full scale all the way around. Unlike dangerous physical conditions that can be inspected and remedied, or criminal activity that can be deterred through security measures, verbal insults that occur spontaneously cannot be reasonably prevented. The appeals court ruled, and they said, go back home, Karen. That's what they said. All right. Our second story, you too can be whatever you want to be. The headline is, are you serious? How the LSU band got a 66-year-old tuba player.
Aw, I love it already.
We go to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where Captain Dale Dickery is the commander of Homeland Security for the East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's Office and has heard plenty of strange calls in his time for law enforcement, particularly in South Louisiana. But this one beat all the others. Someone had called in about a wounded animal, and the call was coming from right in his own neighborhood. He said, a wounded moose? Dickery said. I said, we ain't got no moose around. Then it struck him. That would be Kent. Kent Broussard, Dickery's new neighbor, was a retiree who had just moved to Baton Rouge, determined to fulfill his life's dream to join the Golden Band from Tigerland at LSU. And he was learning to play, of all things, the tuba. Dickery tells the story in the Broussard's living room alongside his wife Dawn, Broussard's wife Cheryl, and fellow neighbors Lynette Wilkes and Barry Searles. They all immediately leaped to Kent's defense. He wasn't so bad at the tuba that his playing was confused with moose noises, they say. It was just the confusion that was natural. Nobody in the neighborhood was expecting someone to be playing a tuba at all. In other words, he was trying to practice his tuba, and they thought a moose was dying in the neighborhood. Poor guy.
Oh, that's amazing.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but it turns out it takes this neighborhood on the southern edge of Baton Rouge to raise a 66-year-old tuba player. It was here that Broussard serenaded the neighbors from his porch, marched around the streets in a weighted vest to get his stamina up, and avoided the heat by playing early in the morning and late at night. Leaf blowers might be annoying in those hours, but nobody was ever bothered by Broussard's brass. He was bringing a little bit of Tiger Stadium into everybody's homes. He soon became the envy of the neighborhood, had a lifelong goal, and made it happen. He's now a member of the LSU band, playing the fight songs on Saturday nights at Tiger Stadium. Welcome to the Tiger Tuba Kent fan club. He says, I've had them in my head for 60 years now, and I'm getting the opportunity to play them, Broussard said of the tunes. It's a quintessential Louisiana tale. The Broussards were the first among the Acadian families, later shortened to Cajun, to settle in Louisiana 2 centuries ago, arriving from France via Canada when they were expelled after rebelling against the British. Kent Broussard, born in Cajun country in Lafayette, got an accounting degree and MBA from Southeastern Louisiana in Hammond and played trumpet in the band for 2 years. He went to work for Cesaric Spirits, named for a cocktail first invented in New Orleans, then was instrumental in the creation of the Cesaric House on the city's Canal Street. He and Cheryl lived in LaPlace along the Mississippi River, but after 2 floods and Kent's retirement, they decided to pick up and move to Baton Rouge so he could move or do the most Louisiana thing possible, join the LSU band. And now, Jess, he's in the LSU band.
I love this story. What a nice way to end it.
Yeah. 66-year-old tuba
That's
player.
so good.
There you go.
Fulfilling his dream.
Fulfilling his dream. There you go.
What dream are you going to fulfill when you turn 66?
Doing the naked helicopter for kids getting off the school bus here in Minnesota. No, I'm kidding.
So we'll be talking about you on this show.
Yeah, you'll be talking about me here on this show with a new host. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. No, I don't know. I don't know what dream I have at 66. I haven't thought about it yet. No idea.
You'll have to come up with something fun.
Maybe hosting Coast to Coast AM. Who knows?
Ooh.
At least on weekends. I have no idea.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. I have no idea. No idea whatsoever. Haven't thought that far ahead yet.
It's a ways. We're still young.
That's right. We're still young. All right, folks, that'll do it for today. Jess, what do you have going on in your world besides, getting drunk in 2 weeks' names and getting naked and starting fights?
Yeah, naked fights and Well, I have an event in December that tickets are on sale for, which is in Stillwater, investigation there, and also some writing and art during the day, but you can do investigation only tickets. So you can find a link for that on my website. And then I have another event coming up in January at the Palmer House.
There you go. There you go. All right. We'll have links to Jess's website so you can check that stuff out more. Tomorrow on the big program, Supernatural News with Mally Fox. And then Thursday, we'll be talking about Haunted New Orleans.
I've never been there.
Never been to New Orleans, really?
No, but you know what? Natalie, my co-writer, just went this weekend.
Really?
Yeah, she did all the haunted stuff, so I'm excited to hear about it.
I'll slip a little hint in here. In 2027, maybe an opportunity to travel with yours truly, Katrina Weidman.
Ooh, I'm in.
Myrtle's Plantation and other points in between.
Fun.
Yeah, so we'll keep you updated on that as it progresses. I don't know. We're still working on it. So
Hammering out the details.
Got to find out. But yeah, we're working on it. All right, so that'll do it for today. Again, tomorrow, Supernatural News with Mally Fox. So again, folks, we thank you so much for joining us here today on the big program. For Jessica Freeberg, I'm Tim Dennis. Thank you so much for joining us today on the best in true crime podcasting. This is True Crime Tuesday.